Representing from Operation Iraqi Freedom, United States Marine Corps, Scott Rold. And also Army First Sergeant Joe LaGrosse, who's also West Allegheny's cheer coach. And representing Operation Enduring Freedom, Air Force Owen Meyer. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to ask any active military member in the stands, please rise. Any retired military, please rise. Any family member of an active or military, retired or active, please rise.
Where? I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our grateful country and two great communities, we thank you for your sacrifice and support of our great cause. At this time, our West Allegheny Show Choir, under the direction of Ms. Megan Bruno, will sing a medley of military songs followed by our national anthem.
No highlight tape, just throw it to keys. Okay.
All right, thank you.
For over 200 years, the men and women in our armed services have defended the United States and continue to keep vigilant watch over our nation. Let us remember those who have fallen and those who continue to serve. Please stand when your service song is played.
Everyone from St. Clair is standing. And then us, yeah, good job.
Off we go into the wild you please rise for the presentation of our national color and remain standing for the national anthem. Our national flag, accompanied by the Marine Corps colors, presented today by members of the West Allegheny High School United States Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. Carrying the national color and commanding the color guard is Cadet Sergeant Zach Jurgis. Their organizational colors in charge of Cadet Corporal Emma Ham. The rifle bearers are Cadet Second Lieutenant Mallory Mahan and Corporal Morgan Swayze.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs were singing air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
This is number 2 in the Allegheny 9. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Joe P. DeMcCullough Stadium for this broadcast between the number one West Allegheny Indians, hosting the Upper St. Clair Panthers. The winner of this game will get number 1 sole possession of the Allegheny 9, top of the conference standings. Hello, everyone. I'm Brennan Rossi, joined alongside my partner Joe Smeltzer. And Joe, on the outside of things, West Allegheny's coming in a little bit banged up. They lost Will Weber to a sprained ankle last week. Dante Flotty out for the year with a broken collarbone, and really a depleted West Allegheny Indian team. But the mentality for this team for the past several years has been next man up. What does West Allegheny have to do in order to come out victorious?
All right, key number 1 for West Allegheny is quarterback play. As you mentioned earlier, Brandon, 2 running backs, Dante Flotty, Will Weber will not be available tonight. So Cam Cruz and Jamie Devon, both of which are inexperienced, neither one of which has distanced themselves from the other, they'll have to be on their A game tonight. Key number 2 is limit mistakes. Jim Render coached teams, as anybody who's watched over St. Clair will know, they don't beat themselves. You have to beat them. So for West Allegheny to do that, they have to play a smart football game. And key number 3 is field position. West Allegheny, known as a ground and pound team without Weber and Flotty, that'll be a little difficult tonight. So driving down the field is going to be more of a challenge. So starting out with good field position is going to be huge for West Allegheny to put some points on the board.
And Upper St. Clair on the other side of the coin, what do they have to do in order to dethrone West Allegheny on the top of the Allegheny 9 conference standings?
Key number 1 for Upper St. Clair is pound the ball. West Allegheny's defensive line is depleted, really, especially plugging up the middle at the defensive tackle position. Really, since Logan Rossi went down in week 1, they've had trouble with teams running up the middle. And Upper St. Clair, Colin McClendon, very good running back. If he can go up the middle and gain some yards on West Allegheny and take advantage of that, then West State will be in trouble. Key number 2, limit West State's run game. Yes, Weber and Flotty are out, but West Allegheny still with Kyle Merritt and Nico Flotty, Dante's brother. They have some weapons in the run game, and with Cruz and Devlin struggling the way they are, it's essential for Upper St. Clair to limit the run game. And key number 3, no dumb mistakes, as mentioned earlier. Jim Render coached teams, very disciplined, play very well, and the reason for that is how smart they are. So if Upper St. Clair can play their game, not make dumb mistakes, and force West Allegheny to beat them and not beat themselves, then they'll have a pretty good chance keeping this game close, if not winning this game tonight.
Upper St. Clair has won the toss and has deferred to the second half, so it will kick off to a injury-prone West Allegheny team, missing its 2 top threats, running the ball for the last several weeks. Will Weber, who recently committed to Duquesne University on Tuesday, as a matter of fact, he'll be unavailable, but good news for West Allegheny fans. He'll be back in time. If not for Hampton next week, then in time for sure against Woodland Hills in 2 weeks' time. But kicking off for Upper St. Clair is Sean Martin, the senior. Correction, he is a junior for Upper St. Clair. And 2 new return men go back deep for West Allegheny. That's Noah Ledford and Kyle Merritt, standing at about the 10-yard line. And we are underway at Joe P. DeMcCullough Stadium. It's a short kick taken by Merritt at the 13-yard line. Cuts up the middle of the field, gets a block, but there's a foul, or a penalty, thrown behind the play as he crosses the 25-yard line, and it's going to come back to a block in the back at around the 20-yard line.
As talked about earlier, this is going to be a game of discipline. Both of these programs known for being very well disciplined and playing great team football. So any penalty could be huge in this game, because if one team has a penalty, then there's not a good chance the other team is going to return the favor and make a mistake.
So West Allegheny already committing the first penalty of the game with a block in the back called against the kick return team, and West Allegheny will now start at its own 15-yard line. The starting lineup for the teams, starting quarterback is Cam Cruz, while the running backs, you're going to see a mixture of Nico Flotty, Kyle Merritt, and Ty Gallant, as back in the Wildcat formation is the senior Gallant alongside fullback Anthony Takis. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Gallant, direct snap, runs to the left and drags a couple St. Clair Panthers with him, gets maybe 5 as he gets down to the 21-yard line, as he's tackled by Phil Elias, the defensive tackle, at the 21-yard line. The rest of the starters, the wide receiving core, you'll see Jake Davis, Isaiah Crow, Colby Stout, and Kyle Guilfoyle getting some catches in at the wide receiver position alongside the leading receiver, tight end, the superstar junior Mateo Vandemia. He's got 14 catches, 228 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the season. 2nd down and 4 from the 21-yard line. This time it's Vandemia in the Wildcat, and Vandemia has some room on the right side, gets a block, and shoestring tackle crossing the 30-yard line, made on the play by Matt Kissinger, and it's a 1st down for West Allegheny.
We see Mateo Vandemia running the ball more often as the weeks go on. Ran it a few times last week against Kiski. A physical specimen, over 6 feet, over 230 pounds. He's a handful for any defense to bring down, and without Weber and Flatty, he could be used as a fixture for a few carries as a running back as well as a tight end tonight.
Vandemia had 3 carries for 26 yards last week in the 31-7 win against Kiski, and those all came on the first drive of the game, and Vandemia remains out in the Wildcat formation. On a 1st and 10, Vandemia runs to the left, has some space, and Kissinger gets the tackle again as he pulls him down at the 36-yard line for a pickup of 5 yards. The starting offensive line at left tackle, Anthony Delavade, the Duquesne commit, alongside the battered Will Weber, who is not playing tonight. The left guard is Spencer Mason. The center is the captain, Zach Hogue. Right guard, Bryce Manley. And right tackle is Sebastian Ricketts. We're going to get you the Upper St. Clair defensive starters following this play. 2nd down and 4 from the 37-yard line. Ty Gallant back in as the Wildcat QB after Vandemia carried the load for the past 2 plays. Gallant, right side, and Gallant's going to be dragged down from behind. Double teamed on the play by Colin McClendon and Jack Burton, the linebacker. But Gallant picks up some decent yardage, but is a yard short of the 1st down marker. It's 3rd down and 1. The St. Clair defense on the defensive line, Dante Greco, Phil Elias, Jake Slinger, and Harvey Roush. The linebacking core, Dom Sapolio, Jack Burton, and Colin McClendon. While the secondary at the corners, Jesse Farah and Tom Kyle. The safeties, Chris Pantelis and Matt Kissinger. 3rd and 1, short yardage situation for Vandemia. And Vandemia runs to the right, has the 1st down, and he bounces off Kissinger, but is dragged down by Farah along the near sideline. And West Allegheny converts its first 3rd down of the night.
Seeing a lot of Mateo Vandemia early on. We're used to seeing him catching passes as a tight end or playing defensive end on defense, but he can run the ball a little as well, and he's really a handful, as I said earlier, for any defense to take down. As you see here, he gets some nice blocking there from Kyle Merritt, just enough for the 1st down, and West Allegheny doing a good job of moving the ball on the ground.
Speaking of Kyle Merritt, he's in the Wildcat QB with 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right on a 1st and 10. Merritt, direct snap, runs up the middle. He's hit hard on the play by the defensive tackle, Jake Slinger, the junior, laying the lumber on the sophomore, and it's 2nd and 9. Jake Slinger there practically decapitated Merritt as he came across the middle. And welcome to your first varsity start, Mr. Kyle Merritt.
Yeah, Upper St. Clair's defense hits very hard. We talked about Jack Burton a lot, arguably the hardest hitting defender in the Allegheny 9. They'll leave some bruises, that's for sure. And Kyle Merritt, pretty unpleasant introduction to the starting lineup in the WPIAL.
But Jake Slinger, he's one of those junior players for Upper St. Clair that has really stepped up. He qualified for the state playoffs last year in the 225-pound weight class as Vandemia crosses St. Clair territory to about the 49-yard line, where he picks up roughly 5 yards. Making the stop again is Slinger and Elias, making it 3rd and 4 from the 49-yard line, and it looks like we may have our first passing situation for sophomore quarterback Cameron Cruz.
Isaiah Crow has checked into the game, big 6'6" wide receiver. We'll see if they go to him on this play and trying to get that 1st down.
West Allegheny QBs between Cam Cruz and Jamie Diven, the quarterback battle, but it hasn't been a good one. The last 2 weeks, 3 completed passes, 23 attempts, something that Cruz would like to get rid of here as he does so with a completed pass to Vandemia on the near sideline, taken out of bounds by Jesse Farah at the 40-yard line. and it's another first down for West Allegheny. They're now 2 for 2 on third down.
Yeah, West Allegheny is this season been really two most known players on offense have been Will Weber and Dante Flatty, but now that they're gone, it's really a chance for Mateo Vandemia to shine. You've seen his versatility with running the football, now with his first catch of the game, and not only do Cam Cruz and Jamie Diven have more of an opportunity, Vandemia does as well, and there's just a short pass to the sideline, gets around the 40-yard line for that first down, and West A is in business.
Could expect Cruz to target Jesse Farah, who was isolated a couple times last week in the win versus Chartiers Valley, as Nico Flatty gets his first carry of the game. And guess who he's hit hard by? It's Jake Slinger once again making the hard hit at about the 39-yard line. Slinger's having a whale of a game in the first possession of the game for either team. It's 2nd down and 9 from the 39-yard line with 6:45 to play in the first quarter. On the first drive of the game, West Allegheny has gobbled up the clock and hasn't had that real explosive play, but has moved the ball enough just to extend the drive more and more each play. Tyler Gallant, the Wildcat QB, as Delavade switches from left to right. Vandemia in motion. Gallant, right side, and nothing doing there. Making the stop, Jack Burton at the linebacker position. And Gallant will lose one. It's 3rd and 10.
Jack Burton with a few college offers, Allegheny College being one of them. He hits hard. He's a hard-nosed football player on the offensive line as well. And now West Allegheny, for the first time tonight, is in that 3rd and long situation. And let's see how Cam Cruz can respond.
West Allegheny is already 2 for 2 on third down in this game. Normally they're only completing 27% of third down, while Upper St. Clair's giving up 29% on third down. Cruz on a 3rd and long in the shotgun. 5-step drop under pressure by McClendon. Completes the pass to Vandemia. And he's undercut by Tom Kyle, the diminutive corner, compared against the tight end Vandemia. And again, West Allegheny extends the drive with another 3rd down conversion.
See Mateo Vandemia taking advantage of the size disparity between him and Kyle, the quarterback. We see here, good protection. Cruz doing a good job of avoiding the rush. Takes a shot there from McClendon, but is able to not get rattled and throws a dime to Vandemia for a first down. And West Allegheny eating up the clock just as it had planned.
West Allegheny has possessed the ball for almost 7 minutes in the opening drive of the game. Ty Gallant, the Wildcat QB, direct snap, runs to the right. Tom Kyle in on the stop along with Matt Kissinger as he drives forward. Gets close to the 20-yard line, but that's all he can get. Nonetheless, it's a nice 7-yard gain by the senior running back, making it 2nd down and 4. Ty Gallant, kind of a reserve running back over the past couple of weeks behind Flatty and Weber. He'll be taking most of the snaps for West Allegheny, and he's a very underrated running back for this West Allegheny team, not only just in the varsity level, but even whenever he was growing up too. Vandemia back in. And Vandemia off the right side, and he runs into Jack Burton. What a collision there between 230-pound Vandemia and 225-pound Jack Burton. And it's a gain of maybe 1. It's 3rd down and 3. Vandemia last week, 3 carries on 26 yards, all coming in the first possession, and also caught a touchdown last week against Kiski, a 7-yarder in the quarter of the end zone, for a passing game that has really sputtered over the past few weeks. The good news, though, is West Allegheny has not thrown an interception since week 1, and we are in week 6, so that's at least something positive about the passing game. 3rd down and 3. Gallant back in. Expect a Wildcat situation, but a timeout has to be taken by West Allegheny. 3:42 to play in the first period. West Allegheny is eating up the clock on the first possession of the game. An 8-minute and 18-second drive thus far, and this is exactly what West Allegheny wanted to do. They're missing Will Weber. They're going to miss Dante Flatty for the rest of the year. So at this point, just go back to what you know how to do, which is run the football, and that's exactly what West Allegheny's done.
Yeah, West Allegheny really not missing a beat so far. If you're watching them, you wouldn't guess that the top 2 running backs in their offense are out. But to your point earlier, Brandon, saying that West State's only thrown 1 interception, that's also the only turnover they've had on the year. A very disciplined football team, not a lot of mistakes on offense, and that's going to be huge in this game as Jim ran their teams, as we know, very disciplined. Upper St. Clair averaging just 3 penalties a game. They don't turn the ball over a lot as well. So for West Allegheny to maintain the football and not let this Upper St. Clair defense, which is known for takeaways, to do their bread and butter and take the ball away, for West Allegheny, keeping the football is going to be huge.
Yeah, West Allegheny's only had 1 turnover, as you said, all year. That coming in week 1, which was technically an interception, but it was really just a ball ripped out of the hands of Van Damme in midair, while Upper St. Clair has forced 16 turnovers, 9 interceptions, and 3 of them returned for touchdown, and 7 fumbles. 3rd and 3, Van Damme runs to the left, and he has the first down and more. Down to the 10-yard line, spinning his way forward to the 5, and Van Damme stumbling his way in the end zone. 20-yard touchdown run by the 6'1", 230-pound tight end, converted to running back here on this drive, and West Allegheny, with a nearly 9-minute drive, gets on the board first.
That's perfect ending to a wonderful drive from West Allegheny. You see there Van Damme getting a block from Anthony Delavade there, number 54 on the screen, shaking off a tackle, just spinning around, using his physical strength that he's known so much for. Very strong kid, running the football and really taking over that possession and leading West A to the opening score.
Colby Stout on to attempt the extra point. He's only missed 2 on the season. 15 for 17 thus far, and this extra point from Stout is up and good. So West Allegheny takes a 7-0 lead with 3:34 to play in quarter number 1. Other games going on around the conference. The Moon Tigers are at the Chartiers Valley Colts. I call Moon the cardiac kids of the Allegheny Nine. Seems like every single game that Moon is in, it's a 1-possession game, including the upset win against North Hills a couple of weeks ago. The Hampton Talbots traveling to Fox Chapel, and what is probably the game of the week outside of West Allegheny and Upper St. Clair is North Hills traveling to Woodland Hills. That game might decide who gets a playoff spot and who gets left out in the dust.
Yeah, and 2 of the giants of the WPIAL as well, so a lot of eyes will be on that contest.
Also, non-conference game, Baldwin hosting Connellsville, while in the Big East, Armstrong at Latrobe, McKeesport at Kiski, Gateway is at Plum, while Penn Trafford travels to Franklin Regional. West Allegheny set to kick it away. Colby Stout will do the honors. Back deep, Colin McClendon and James Madison baseball commit Dom Cipolio. They stand at about the 5-yard line. Colby Stout's only had 1 touchback on the season. We'll see what he can do here. It's a short one to the near side of the field, and backing up and taking it is Pantelis. And Pantelis double teamed there on the near side of the field, making the stop for West Allegheny, Jake Davis and Kyle Merritt. So Upper St. Clair starting its first possession at the 25-yard line, 1st down and 10. The starting offense for Upper St. Clair, the quarterback is Jack Hansberry, who has passed for 900 yards on the season, has a QBR of 155.27, and also has rushed for 200 yards and 6 touchdowns. The main running back, Colin McClendon, has 106 carries for 512 yards, 7 touchdowns. You're going to see a lot of them getting their name called tonight. This is McClendon to the right side, and McClendon bottled up there by Van Damme as he tries to go from left to right. No gain on the play. It's 2nd and 10. Starting fullbacks, you're going to see James DeUlis and Brandon Shearer in at fullback, while at your starting wide receivers, Dom Cipolio, Tom Kyle, Chris Pantelis, and Matt Kissinger. Starting tight end is Quentin Nelson, and the offensive line will be coming after this play. Hansberry in the shotgun. He'll look to throw for the first time and dumps it off to McClendon, going to the left side, and he's dragged down by Anthony Delavade, the senior linebacker who committed to Duquesne earlier in the season. And it's 3rd down and 2 for Upper St. Clair at its own 33-yard line. Starting offensive line for Upper St. Clair, not a necessarily big group as we've been accustomed to from Upper St. Clair, but a strong unit. Left tackle Drew Miller, the biggest lineman at 6'2", 255. The left guard is Jack Burton. The center is Phil Elias. The right guard is Dante Greco. And the right tackle is Jake Slinger. 3rd and 2. Upper St. Clair at its own 33. Hansberry to McClendon. To the right side. Gets a block, but nothing doing there. McClendon's brought down at the line of scrimmage by a host of West Allegheny players. Delavade and Guilfoyle in on the stop. And it's decision time for head coach Jim Render, and the punt team will get sent out for Upper St. Clair.
Yeah, that's exactly what West Allegheny wanted. They had that great drive to open the game, nearly 9 minutes, and then not letting Upper St. Clair gain any of that momentum back on offense. And now West A has a chance to go up by 2 scores.
Dom Sapolio in the punt. Back deep is Noah Ledford as Sapolio's punt. It's a good one. High, but it will be a little bit short and take a West Allegheny roll down to the 41-yard line where it was touched down in midair, and West Allegheny has good starting field position to begin the second drive of the game.
Yeah, and field position was one of my keys for West Allegheny. With that depleted offense, 2 running backs missing, as we mentioned throughout the night, it's going to be crucial to have as short a field to work with as possible. And West Allegheny starting off with decent field position at near midfield, and the way this offense has been moving, that's bad news for Upper St. Clair.
West Allegheny went on an 8.5-minute drive to begin the game and then forced a 3-and-out to Upper St. Clair. It was capped off by a 20-yard touchdown scamper to the left side by Mateo Vandamia. This is Kyle Merritt in the shotgun. He'll get the Wildcat snap, runs to the right, and Merritt can't get away from Burton. He accelerates and brings down the sophomore as he crosses the 45-yard line to about the 47, and it's 2nd and 5. Kyle Merritt, one of those sophomores, along with Paul Fedorka, that has gotten significant playing time, mainly on defense. But Kyle Merritt came in last week in the wake of Will Weber and Dante Flatty getting injured, and Merritt was the leading rusher last week. 6 carries for 80 yards and a career long for him, 60 yards. Didn't score a touchdown, but he got the job done running the ball. 2nd and 5, ball at the 47. Kyle Merritt, as the Wildcat player, runs to the right, gets a block from Vandamia, but he'll be dragged down close to the first down marker by Burton and Kissinger. And it looks like that is first down yardage for Kyle Merritt. West Allegheny will move the chains yet again, something it's done very, very well against the Upper St. Clair defense that looks to be getting tired, especially on that first drive. But checking in for West Allegheny, the freshman Nico Flatty, who has been a starter the last 3 games on defense, but he'll be seeing some time at running back. But speaking of running back, this is Tyler Gallant, who is in the shotgun. Gallant fakes to Flatty, gets a nice block from Vandamia, runs to the right, stutter steps, jukes his way inside the 30-yard line, brought down at the 28-yard line by Tom Kyle and Matt Kissinger. West Allegheny moves the ball yet again.
Vandamia is really doing it all on offense. He's caught passes, he's ran the ball a lot, and now he's showing off his blocking ability, using that strength. And Tyler Gallant able to take advantage of that, and West Allegheny continuing to move through this stout USC defense as the first quarter draws to a close.
West Allegheny clicking on all cylinders to begin the first half. Upper St. Clair, not much showing from them. They've had a few nice tackles from defensive tackle Jake Slinger, but other than that, Upper St. Clair's been pretty quiet in this first quarter. They trail 7-0 to West Allegheny, a team in which we weren't expecting West Allegheny to do what they've been able to do against Upper St. Clair, but with a balanced running attack, they've gotten Upper St. Clair on its toes right now.
Absolutely, and as you said before the game, Brandon, that next man up mentality that's been a theme from Bob Palco's teams for years now, and Will Weber, Dante Flatty both out. We didn't know what we would see from the running game. We didn't know if Cam Cruz and Jamie Diven would be thrown into the fire a little more than they have been recently because of the lack of those 2 tailbacks. But Kyle Merritt, Tyler Gallant, Mateo Vandamia, they've been on fire, really, and the offense is doing what West Allegheny teams have been known to do throughout the years. It's chew out the clock. It doesn't have to be flashy, but it gets the job done. They've been mowing down the field and on the first drive, and they're continuing to do that on the second drive as well, threatening to go up by 2 touchdowns.
West Allegheny has moved the ball very, very well to begin the game. An 85-yard drive that chewed up 8.5 minutes of clock. Capped off by a 20-yard touchdown run by Mateo Vandemia, the monstrous tight end turned running back at 6'1", 230. Meanwhile, Upper St. Clair went 3 and out, and West Allegheny's driving yet again. It's 1st and 10 from the St. Clair 28. This is Vandemia. He fakes, runs to the left, has some room. Down to the 25, down to the 20, stiff arms a man down to the 15, and he's brought down from behind by a couple Upper St. Clair Panthers as Harvey Roush coming up from behind and making the stop. But another big gain from Vandemia. It's 1st and 10 from the 15.
Yeah, the man on the other hand of that stiff arm was Chris Pantelis for Upper St. Clair. That's the second time Vandemia has gotten the best of him, as Pantelis failed to tackle Vandemia earlier. But Mateo Vandemia just running down the field, showing off his running ability that hadn't really been unleashed earlier in the season. But with the running backs injured, Vandemia has been asked to step up, and he is doing just that.
Pantelis has been on the receiving end of a couple big blows from Vandemia when he runs the ball, but this is Gallant. Gallant off right tackle, but nothing doing there. He's wrapped up by Burton at the 14-yard line, making it 2nd down and 9 for West Allegheny. Ty Gallant, a huge Pittsburgh Pirates and New England Patriots fan. The Pirates obviously didn't do so well, and New England, well, they're not living up to expectations. But on the other hand, West Allegheny's kind of defying expectations. They're coming out of the gate very well against Upper St. Clair. They're missing 2 of its top running backs in Will Weber and Dante Flatty. But this slew of West A running backs are really picking up where they left off. It's 2nd and 9 from the 14. Flatty in motion, and Gallant fakes, weaves his way through traffic, and a den of Panthers makes the stop. The forward progress completed at the 12-yard line. Roush, Farah, and Burton getting in on the tackle. And it's a 3rd down and about 7 to go for West Allegheny. This is field goal range for kicker Colby Stout if West Allegheny were to go no further.
At the Panther 12-yard line.
Cam Cruz back out at quarterback. He's already completed 2 of his 2 passes, both to Vandemia. And Vandemia is lined up in the tight end position. 3 receivers to the right, nobody to the left unless you count Vandemia as the tight end. Cruz looks right the whole way, eludes the pressure, makes some move down to the 5, and close to the 1st down marker he goes. It's going to depend on where they spot the ball. And it looks like from up here, he's just shy of the 1st down marker. It's 4th down and about the length of the football from the 1st.
Here you're seeing the mobility of Cam Cruz, which is one of his assets as one of the quarterbacks for West Allegheny. Jamie Diven, more of a pocket passer. There you see his elusiveness. Doesn't see anything, is able to run and elude the Upper St. Clair rush, and West Allegheny is going for it here on 4th and short.
It's Vandemia again, the big bruiser at 230 pounds. Will get the snap. Runs to the right, and he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Upper St. Clair forces a turnover on downs. Matt Kissinger wraps him up from the ankles, and Vandemia is tripped up 2 yards shy of the 1st. And Upper St. Clair takes over 1st and 10 from its own 7.
Yeah, Kissinger, the safety, doing a good job of sniffing out that play, and a big stop for Upper St. Clair as it looked like West Allegheny might go up by 2 scores. And it's those types of plays and these types of games that could make all the difference. And Upper St. Clair's offense didn't get a lot doing on that first possession. Now it's up to the offense to drive down the field and tie this ball game against the West Allegheny defense and chew up some clock while they're at it.
Speaking of defense, the starting defensive line, Brent Mangold, Anthony Takis, and Mateo Vandemia bring up the defensive line. The linebackers, Nico Flatty, Anthony Delavade, Nate Vislowski, and Kyle Merritt, as a run play comes to Colin McClendon off the right side, and he's brought down by a couple linebackers. Ty Gallant, the reserve, backing up Kyle Merritt, or at least switching in with the sophomore, tripping him up at about the 8-yard line, so it's 2nd and 9. The starting secondary, Isaiah Crow, probably the biggest cornerback in the entire WPIAL, at 6'6", 200 pounds. The safeties, Noah Ledford and Kyle Guilfoyle, while the other starting corner is Elijah Colliers. 2nd down and 9. Ball is at the 8-yard line. Jack Hansberry leads his offense out onto the field, and Hansberry fakes and makes a move with his legs. Hansberry's got some space to the right side, to the 15, and he's pushed out of bounds, and a late flag's going to come in on Isaiah Crow, who brought him down out of bounds, made the hit as Hansberry's foot was out of bounds, and 15 yards are tacked on to the end of the run.
As we talked about earlier, penalties will play a huge factor in these types of games. They play a factor in any football game, but especially
After the play, personal foul, defense. 15 yards from the end of the run, be a first down.
penalties are especially crucial to avoid in games with two very good football teams that are known for their discipline. And West Allegheny cannot give Upper St. Clair openings because Upper St. Clair, they're not going to beat themselves. So West Allegheny has to avoid these types of penalties.
So St. Clair set up with a 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Would have had first down yardage regardless of the penalty. And the Panthers will have the ball at the 35. Hansberry looks left the whole way, throws, completes the pass to Pantelis, and Pantelis is wrestled down by Elijah Colliers at about the 43-yard line. That's a pickup of 8 on the screen pass, making it 2nd down and pretty short for Upper St. Clair. Colliers, one of those cornerbacks that's really had to step up, came in late in the game against North Hills and played very well and has been the starter ever since over on the right side corner position, but he's been challenged a couple of times, and passing games have been able to benefit from that. But this is Hansberry making a move with his legs, gets the first down and more, escapes a couple Indians as he falls forward to the 43-yard line. That's a 14-yard pickup by the senior quarterback, Hansberry.
Seeing the mobility of Jack Hansberry, he's a very good passer among the top passing quarterbacks in 5A, but he can also run as well. He's the second leading rusher on the Upper St. Clair team. There you see Hansberry gets a good block from Jake Slinger, the right tackle. He's able to move forward for a first down, and Upper St. Clair, after forcing that turnover on downs, they're moving into West Allegheny territory.
Hansberry's been getting a lot more involved in the running game. He's the second leading rusher on the team just behind McClendon. But this is a jet sweep to Sapolio. Sapolio running from left to right, and nothing doing there. He's initially hit by Anthony Delavade, cleaned up there by Noah Ledford and Anthony Takis. And Sapolio gets back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing more. It's 2nd down and 10 from the 43-yard line. Sapolio, the leading receiver on the team, he has 19 catches for 326, 2 touchdowns, but both of those coming early on in the year. A 58-yarder against Steubenville and a 71-yarder against Moon. That was only his 4th carry of the season. He's only had 5 yards, and also threw the game-winning touchdown against Fox Chapel to Matt Kissinger. 2nd and 10 from the 43. Hansberry fakes, throws to the left, completes the pass over to the left side to Dom Sapolio, and another penalty is going to come down on Sapolio. His helmet came off, and this is going to be against West Allegheny. We're going to have to see what kind of penalty it is against the Indians. Here comes the call from head referee John Carson.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Already for West Allegheny, 3 penalties for 40 yards, while Upper St. Clair hasn't committed a penalty yet. So this is not the recipe that West Allegheny once cooked up if they want to beat Upper St. Clair.
Yeah, Upper St. Clair is about the last team you'll want to have a personal foul penalty against, and West Allegheny's had 2 of them called on this drive alone.
1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Upper St. Clair all of a sudden is knocking on the door after a few penalties committed by West A. McClendon up the middle, has some room, down to the right side to the 15, and he's tripped up from behind by Kyle Guilfoyle, who turned on the jets and caught up to McClendon, making the stop at about the 13-yard line. Saved the touchdown, but it's a 12-yard pickup and a first down for the Panthers.
And McClendon had a lot of room to run on that near sideline. We talked earlier about how Upper St. Clair will want to use McClendon and run him towards the middle of the field, but he's been running pretty well north-south as well as east-west thus far, and his versatility is on display in where he's running the football.
We're already down to 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the half. Upper St. Clair inside the 20-yard line. Hansberry now alone in the shotgun. He runs to the right. Hansberry up the middle, and he is brought down by a tribe of Indians inside the 5-yard line. Isaiah Crow and Mateo Vandamia in on the tackle down to the 4-yard line. It's second down and a long one. Ball's in between the 5 and 4-yard lines. Upper St. Clair knocking on the door in the red zone. Heading into this game, they've made 17 trips inside the 20-yard line. They scored 86 points for a 5.06 red zone average, while West Allegheny struggled in the red zone against opponents, allowing 5 points roughly. But McClendon runs to the left, has a wide open lane if he can get past Colliers, and he can't do so. Colliers brings him down behind the line of scrimmage, forcing a bad angle on McClendon, and Upper St. Clair goes backwards. It's third down and short. But as I was saying, West Allegheny has now allowed 10 trips inside the 20-yard line and has allowed 46 points. Upper St. Clair looking to add to that total if it can convert on this third down. It's well within field goal range for junior kicker Sean Martin, as this will be about a 22-yarder from the left hash if St. Clair can't go any further. But Hansberry fakes the pass and looks to the left side. The pass is incomplete in the corner of the end zone. Jesse Farah made a leaping attempt at the ball, but Farah unable to hold on to it. Correction, that's Quentin Nelson, who tried to make the jumping catch, but can't complete it, and he's limping gingerly to the sideline. Quentin Nelson, the son of former Pittsburgh Steeler and New England Patriot Edmund Nelson, who, yes, is that Edmund Nelson who was formerly from the Steelers kickoff show with Bob Pompiani. But nonetheless, it's 4th down and 2 from the 5-yard line, and this will be an injury timeout for Upper St. Clair for Quentin Nelson to get off the field, and the Panthers instead will actually burn a timeout. So now both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. We're at the 3:29 mark to go in quarter number 2 in a very fast-moving game. It seemed like this game only got started about a half hour ago. It's 7:37, and we're already almost at halftime. And that really goes to show that both teams love to run the ball. You haven't seen many passes from either team. Obviously, Upper St. Clair will pass more than West Allegheny, but it's really been a quick-moving game. Lots of running plays from both sides.
Yeah, both sides really with the same mentality, run the football, chew out the clock, and see where that takes you. Neither team known for big plays. Don't really have any big-time players on offense. It's really more of 2 solid football teams that like to get everybody involved. Bob Palka loves to get players involved on the offense, as is Jim Render. Both teams showing their depth in running the football, and on this drive in particular, Jack Hansberry for Upper St. Clair really showing his versatility. And ever since that 4th down stop, it seems that the pendulum has shifted in favor of the Upper St. Clair Panthers. But we're set for this 4th and 2, which to this point could be the biggest play in this game of this first half.
4th and 2 from the 5-yard line. St. Clair decides not to go for the field goal, but instead will try to go for it all. And now a timeout's taken by West Allegheny. So now a series of timeouts taken from both teams, and it'll be very interesting to see what Upper St. Clair and head coach Jim Render will do now. Render, in his 39th year at Upper St. Clair, is 5 wins away from win number 400 in his coaching career. He is also 18 wins away from the PIAA record in wins from a head coach. He's only trailing to 413 wins for his career. And also Jim Render is in the top 20 among active high school football coaches in the country with wins. And speaking of, Upper St. Clair wants to renovate the field, which includes all new press boxes and whatnot. And they want to rename the field after Jim Renner, much like what they did at the Wolverina with George Novak over there.
Yeah, and Jim Renner would be deserving of that honor. Arguably the most legendary coach in the history of the WPIAL, the winningest coach in the history of the WPIAL. He is a legend, as is Bob Palker, and you're seeing two of the best coaches in the area going at it tonight.
4th and short from the 5. Hansberry rolls to the right, and he's hit as he throws. Pass is incomplete. Pressure brought on the play by Nate Vislowski, who came in like a missile up the middle, untouched, forcing the bad pass, and West Allegheny takes the ball over on downs.
Yeah, Nate Vislowski, an unheralded member of this West Allegheny football team, played very well last week against Kiski, and you see there getting pressure on Jack Hansberry and ending up getting to the quarterback, forcing that bad pass. And as Upper St. Clair did to West A on the last possession, West A returned the favor and halting Upper St. Clair's momentum and now going back on the ball.
Both teams racking up offensive yardage, but really there's only been 7 points to show for it. West Allegheny's put on 2 nice drives, only came out with 1 touchdown, while Upper St. Clair marched about 88 yards down the field and couldn't convert from 5 yards out. This is Kyle Merritt going up the middle, and Merritt keeps on ticking his way down, and the forward progress will be halted at about the 8-yard line by a pride of Panthers, Harvey Roush, in on the stop. And West Allegheny will have a 2nd and 6 to contend with from the 9-yard line at about the 3-minute mark to go in the first half. Whenever halftime rolls around, be sure to check out the West Allegheny and Upper St. Clair Marching Prides. We'll have that for you for the halftime. So be sure to stick around for that and see what West Allegheny can do in the second half against the Upper St. Clair Panthers. In a battle for first place in the Allegheny 9, both teams are tied among the top of the standings, but Gallant shakes away from McClendon and gets back to the line of scrimmage and gets a couple extra yards for his efforts. Gallant nearly was brought down for a disastrous loss by, that was actually Dom Sapolio, but the tackle was finished up by Elias and Slinger. Both have had tremendous games on the defensive line. It's 3rd down at about 5 from the 11-yard line. Passing situation here. Cam Cruz trots out onto the field, and this could be dangerous for West Allegheny as well. Upper St. Clair has picked off 9 passes from opposing quarterbacks, returning 3 for touchdowns. So Cam Cruz needs to be careful here, taking care of the football. Cruz, 3-step drop, throws to the right. Pass is complete to Van Damia. Van Damia tries to make a move, but gets table-topped, crossing the 20-yard line, and another first down for West Allegheny.
That's the second 3rd down Cam Cruz has converted today. Really doing what he has to do at the quarterback position. You mentioned earlier a turnover in that territory could have been deadly, but you'll see here Cam Cruz all by himself avoids the rush there from Upper St. Clair and makes the short pass to Van Damien just enough for a first down. And West Allegheny keeping the chains moving, looking to add to its lead with about a minute and a half to go in this first half.
The key for this game thus far, 3rd down completions for both teams. West Allegheny has done very, very well on 3rd down, and it looks like West Allegheny will have to burn a timeout. They couldn't get a play call in as Brent Mangold was wandering around the sidelines trying to get something in. But West Allegheny will burn their 3rd and final timeout. 1 minute, 18 seconds showing on the first half clock with a 7-0 lead for the West Allegheny Indians. A look at some other sports around West Allegheny. The Indian volleyball team unfortunately fell in a heartbreaker last night to South Fayette 3-2. They now sit at 3rd place in the section standings, will more than likely make the playoffs, even though obviously a drop-off from last year, a tremendous senior class being graduated from the volleyball team, who were Whippeal champions last year, defeating Hampton 3-1. The boys soccer team, on the other hand, a different story. They are a Whippeal championship contender for the first time since 2014, and they sit at now 14-1-1. They're the number 1 team in Class 3A according to the brand new Trib Live High School Sports Network, and they beat up on Moon pretty badly last night, 4-0. The The boys soccer team plays Baldwin tomorrow in a non-conference game at 10 a.m. here at West Allegheny, while they finish off conference play with a road match at Montour, a key matchup for the boys soccer team. But Vandamia takes the snap, tries to go up the middle, nearly loses the ball, but he has to corral it in between his legs as the hit was put on by Antonio Orsini. It's a 1-yard pickup. It's 2nd and 9 from about the 22-yard line with a minute to go in the first half.
Yeah, West Allegheny, not a team really built to score fast. They're known, as we've been talking about, as a ground and pound team that chews off the clock, as you saw in that scoring drive. And now with less than 50 seconds left, they'll have to move the ball down the field in a hurry instead of taking their time.
2nd and 9 at the 22. Gallant back in as the Wildcat QB. He's going to take this direct snap. That is, if Upper St. Clair doesn't jump off sides. It'll be an encroachment call against the Panthers. And that's the first Upper St. Clair penalty.
Encroachment on a defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Ball spotted now at the 27 after the defensive line jumped off sides. Dante Greco, Phil Elias jumping into the neutral zone. It's 2nd down and 4. Dante Greco, second-team all-conference guard. His mother actually worked with my father, Bill Rossi, whenever he originally worked over at National Real Estate, while defensive tackle Phil Elias is also a second-team all-conference center. His father, Phil Sr., is the president of the Upper St. Clair Football Boosters. 2nd down and 4 from the 27. This is Ty Gallant back in. Same formation as the last time. 3 receivers to the left side. And Gallant throws the pass complete to Vandamia. Vandamia gets the first down and more as he is wrapped down at about the 38-yard line by Colin McClendon, who's had a pretty quiet game at linebacker. But West Allegheny is going to try and catch Upper St. Clair napping as they rush to the line. 4 seconds, or the clock is stopped at 5 seconds. Cruz will spike the ball down, and the clock is stopped at 3 seconds to go in the first half. This will be the final play of the first half, and you can expect Cruz to just heave one down the field if Cruz comes into the game. And it looks like he's not going to come in for the final play of the half. This will be Kyle Merritt. He's talking with assistant coach Jim D'Amico and former Slippery Rock grad, member of the 2000 state runner-up team. But Kyle Merritt's in as the Wildcat QB. On the final play of the half, we're going to get a whistle.
Prior to the snap,
and
delay game.
A delay of game called against West Allegheny,
Remains 2nd down.
putting the Indians back 5 more yards. Clock's going to remain at 1 second to go. So really it doesn't matter if West Allegheny can convert this first down because there's only 1 second showing on the clock. So now it's just a matter of if West Allegheny can go 66 yards on this play, or at least get a nice run before the half ends. Merritt back in for the Indians. He's in the shotgun. Merritt runs to the left, eludes Sapolio, and Merritt is slammed down by the wrestler, Jake Slinger, looking more like a WWE wrestler there, bringing Merritt down to the turf. But nonetheless, that'll put an end to the first half. A surprising first half, considering that West Allegheny is injury deprived, missing Will Weber and Dante Flatty, but still have a 7-0 lead over Upper St. Clair. But it'll be very interesting to see what West Allegheny can do in the second half, because history says West Allegheny plays a strong half in one half, and then on the other side, not so much.
Yeah, we've seen that every game this year, really. There hasn't been a game yet where West Allegheny has been at its best for 2 halves of football, and tonight, more so than any of the games they played thus far, that will be crucial. But as for the first half for West Allegheny, really not a lot more you could ask for. We were kind of wondering coming in what this offense would be without Will Weber and Dante Flatty. Well, we found out on the first possession that West Allegheny has a lot of depth and has a lot of players that could hurt an opposing defense in a lot of ways. They ran down the field, and the defense stiffened when it had to as well. So not a lot to complain about from a West Allegheny standpoint in that first half.
It'll be interesting to see what West Allegheny can do against Upper St. Clair in half number 2. Upper St. Clair, keep in mind, is a very, very strong second half team. So we'll have to see what the Indians can do there against what is possibly the number 1 team in the Allegheny 9. But this game will tell the story as to who really is number 1 in the Allegheny 9. We're going to step aside for the halftime show. Stay tuned to the West Allegheny Sports Network.
Featuring the captivating color guard, led by Captain Sandy Reamer and Kate Shaughnessy. And as the trumpets follow, Jay Mustard.
Marching Band Classic, Allegheny, featuring the full auxiliary, a trumpet quartet. We hope you enjoy. Clair. The band is under the direction of Don Piquel, Dr. John Seibert, Kiara Hanna, and Patrick Jones. This is the voice of the band, Paul Fox. We would like to wish you best wishes for many musical moments this year. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2017 West Allegheny Marching Band Halftime Show. Our show theme this year is School of Rock and features music by Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and Led Zeppelin. Our band is under the field leadership of seniors Evan Armstrong and Katie Borgo. Our opening number this evening was released in August of 1988 and was Guns N' Roses' only song to top the Billboard Hot 100 chart. This song, Sweet Child of Mine, will feature trumpet soloist Michael Cosmic. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy our show, School of Rock.
Joyce, come around this way. Come around this way.
I have no comment. 20 years later, I have no comment. Yes, that's how we got out here so early.
Greatest heavy metal song of all time by VH1. Ladies and gentlemen, Metallica's Master of Puppets. We will end our show this evening with the song that was voted number 3 in VH1's list of the 100 greatest rock songs of all time. This song will feature trumpet soloist Morgan Swayze, trumpet duet Alex Prohoski and Amy Nolte, and trombone soloist Aaron Berg. Ladies and gentlemen, Stairway to Heaven. The West Allegheny Marching Band was honored twice this past week. First, the band was voted WPXI's Band of the Week. Second, the band was invited to perform at this Sunday's Steelers versus Jaguars game. Let's hear it one more time for the West Allegheny Marching Crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? If you entered the raffle for the football side by Jerome Bettis, we have the winning ticket. So if you signed up to win possibly the football side by Jerome Bettis, the winning ticket is 616-926. I'll repeat, 616-926. If you have that ticket, please head down to the back half of the concession stand where the 50-50 is sold and claim your prize. Also some scores around Class 5A. Fox Chapel leads Hanson 21-14. Moon 6. Chartiers Valley, 12. North Hills, 3. Woodland Hills, 3. Penn Trafford on top of Franklin Regional, 13-7. And finally, McKeesport, 34. Kiski, 7. Thank you. Brandon Rockeye. As you know, tonight's game is being broadcast on the West Allegheny Sports Network, and the broadcast team is Brandon Rockeye and Joe Smeltzer, who do a great job of broadcasting our WAA games over the internet. And now the winning numbers for the 50-50 raffle. So if you have any tickets on the 50-50 raffle, if you have a yellow ticket with the number 445 442 445 442, go down to the refreshment stand.
The only score of the game, a 20-yard run on the first drive of the game to the left side by Mateo Van Damia, his first rushing touchdown of his varsity career. We're back here at Joe P. DiMicculla Stadium. Brandon Rossi and Joe Smeltzer on the call for you right here on the West Allegheny Sports Network. And Joe, a game in which Upper St. Clair in the first half has been pretty quiet against this West Allegheny team, and while the Indians, on the other hand, they've been firing on all cylinders. Despite a couple stupid penalties defensively on the one drive where St. Clair drive down to about the 5-yard line, West Allegheny has played almost a perfect game.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really impressive considering the circumstances West Allegheny came into this game without Will Weber and without Dante Flatty. You're seeing that next man up mentality, and I was thinking coming in about maybe this is an opportunity for Mateo Van Damia to really break out and be kind of the center figure of this West Allegheny offense, and that certainly happened in the first half. The offense moving the ball in that first drive, climaxing with that Van Damia touchdown. And the West State defense has done well too. You know, Upper St. Clair didn't move the ball on them late in the second half, but that big fourth down stop by the West Allegheny defense, Hansberry's pass falling just out of bounds as not being able to be crowded in by the receiver. But as you said, West Allegheny, fantastic first half, and the Allegheny 9 Conference Championship will come down to which team performs better in the second half. And West Allegheny, the ball is in their court now, and let's see if they can respond. They can keep Upper St. Clair from responding to that. Really a fantastic first half from West Allegheny.
But this is probably the toughest test that West Allegheny will face all year, considering that West Allegheny has struggled to put together a complete game. Whether it be they struggle in the first half, dominate the second half, or vice versa, they really haven't been able to put together a complete 4 quarters of football. While Upper St. Clair, on the other hand, they're a fantastic second half team, and we've seen that over the past couple of weeks. This Upper St. Clair team has been dominant in the second half, especially against teams like Baldwin, Chartiers Valley, where they lead at 14-6, but they would win by almost a mercy rule. So Upper St. Clair can definitely get some things going, and West Allegheny needs to put the pedal to the metal and get into the end zone more than once, obviously. Get another touchdown before St. Clair can crack the scoreboard to get some of the monkey off their back, so to speak. And also keep in mind, Upper St. Clair gets the ball to start the half. So St. Clair has a prime opportunity to climb back into this game.
Absolutely. This first possession of the second half is going to tell a lot. We'll see if Jack Hansberry in this offense can not only drive down the field, but get in that end zone against West Allegheny, which they were not able to do in the first half, and tie this football game. Or can West Allegheny get another stop on defense and get the ball back to Cam Cruz in that offense to try and drive down the field and expand this lead.
Stout to kick it away. Colin McClendon and Dom Sapolio standing at the 10-yard line, awaiting the kick. Upper St. Clair's already turned one kickoff return for a touchdown earlier in the year, and they're not going to do that on this play as the kick is returned by the up man, a short squibbing kick taken by Brandon Shearer, and he runs into several West Allegheny players at about the 32-yard line. So that's where Upper St. Clair starts 1st and 10 from the 32. The Panthers moved the ball very well on their most previous possession to close out the first half, but the drive stalled at the 5-yard line when Nate Vislowski forced a bad pass hitting Hansberry as he let go of the football. It's 1st and 10 from the 32. McClendon off the left side, and nothing doing for the junior running back. He's stacked up by Brett Mangold and Mateo Vandamia at the line of scrimmage. May have gotten one, but nonetheless, it's a 2nd down for Upper St. Clair. Colin McClendon, the junior running back, his 2nd year starting on offense, and he's a 3-year starter on the defensive side of the ball. His mother, Terry, is the vice president of the Upper St. Clair Football Boosters. His siblings go to Pitt, and he also attended Catholic school from preschool to 8th grade over in South Hills Village. His cousin just so happens to be wide receiver Dom Sapolio as well. 2nd down and 9 from the 33. Hansberry drops back. There's a flag down as Hansberry fires down the middle of the field, and pass is defended well by Noah Ledford, covering Dom Sapolio. And we'll wait and see what the call is from our refereeing crew of John Carson, the head referee, and the umpire, Bruce Crivera, line judge Fred Bosch, field judge John Decalotti. As the call is on Upper St. Clair, the penalty is declined by West Allegheny, so it's a 3rd down and 9 from the 33. Mike Murin is the head linesman, and Andre Smith is the side judge. It's one of the bread and butter plays that Upper St. Clair likes to go to. Just a simple fade route down the middle of the field to Dom Sapolio, and Ledford sniffed it out very, very well.
Yeah, it sets up a big 3rd down for Upper St. Clair. As I said, first possession of the 2nd half is huge, and Upper St. Clair will have to get the 1st down and keep the drive moving to try to tie this game.
3rd down and 9. Hansberry tucks it and runs. And Hansberry can't do anything there. He's brought down by, looks like, Anthony Topkis coming in and making the stop. Hansberry falls forward for a gain of about 2, but it's a 4th and 7 for Upper St. Clair, and the punt team comes out.
Yeah, just what West Allegheny's defense wanted, forcing that 3 and out, not allowing Upper St. Clair to do anything with that possession. And now West Allegheny's offense, which is shown us able to move the ball against this Upper St. Clair defense, has a chance to do that and expand this lead.
Sapolio will punt. Pressure coming, and he gets it away. Fair catch by Noah Ledford. Bounces off his helmet, and it's luckily for West Allegheny recovered by Colby Stout at about the 27-yard line. That could have been disastrous for West Allegheny if Ledford were not able to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, West Allegheny's only turned the ball over once all season, and very fortunate not to have its 2nd turnover, as Ledford a little trouble handling it. Luckily, Colby Stout was aware and able to jump on that ball, but very scary situation for West Allegheny. And now let's see if the offense can make Upper St. Clair pay for not pouncing on that by driving down the field.
The Upper St. Clair student section, as you see in the upper half of your screen, they're getting really into it. They're one of the best student sections in all the WPIAL, regardless of classification. It's 1st and 10 from the West A 27-yard line for the Indians. Gallant throws the pass, and it hits the turf before it falls into the waiting hands of Mateo Vandamia. So Gallant now 1 for 2 on the day, trying the same play to Vandamia. Was short of him. Gallant was a former quarterback over in his sophomore year. He was the starting JV quarterback before being moved to running back last season for the junior varsity team. It's 2nd and 10 from the 27-yard line. West Allegheny breaks the huddle, looking to go up by 2 possessions, but they're pinned back at about the 27-yard line in their own territory. Gallant sends Flatty in motion. He'll fake the handoff, and Gallant off the right side, tight-roping the right hash mark, and he's dumped down at the 42-yard line. A pride of Panthers makes the stop, led by Jack Burton. And it's 3rd down and about 5. Jack Burton, the linebacker, currently has offers from Allegheny, Catholic University of America, St. Vincent, and Wheeling Jesuit. He recently visited Duquesne last week and also took a visit earlier in the year to Washington and Lee. WNL in Virginia offered Burton to be not only a football player but a wrestler. Burton's one of the top wrestlers that Upper St. Clair has to offer. It's 3rd down and 6. From the 31, we see Cam Cruz, and looks like Dom Sapolio just barely grazed the neutral zone, and it'll cost Upper St. Clair 5 yards. Panthers a little overzealous there on the pass attempts. Cruz got the hard count to work. And West Allegheny will have the ball
on the defense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
At the 36-yard line.
Very uncharacteristic of a Jim Render coach team. Upper St. Clair coming in averaging just 3 penalties a game. One of the more disciplined teams in all of the WPIAL. And Coach Render's not going to be happy with that penalty. And in a close game like this with 2 very solid football teams, plays like that, as I mentioned time and time again, could be a huge factor.
3rd and short from the 36-yard line. Vandamia is in as the Wildcat QB. Vandamia up the middle, pushes his way forward, splits the defense, tries to cut up to the left side, but gets tripped up at about the 42-yard line. Phil Elias in on the tackle, and it's a 1st down for the Indians. Vandamia has been playing a lot of tight end and a lot of Wildcat QB, running the ball very well, and is also the only receiver for West Allegheny to catch a pass, whether it be from quarterback Cam Cruz or Ty Gallant on the fake Wildcat up the middle. West Allegheny driving at about the 42, where it has a 1st and 10. A very fast-moving game thus far, and the Indians will have to take a timeout early on in the 3rd quarter. West Allegheny on top of Upper St. Clair, 7-0. Where West Allegheny and Upper St. Clair, they've both been able to move the ball against each other, but West Allegheny is the only team to show for it. A 20-yard touchdown scamper by Mateo Vandamia off the left side, bullying his way past Chris Pantelis, spinning his way free for a touchdown, and a play that was very unexpected, even though Mateo Vandamia is one of the hardest players in the entire WPIL to bring down.
Yeah, Mateo Vandamia, he's blocked well tonight as he has all season. He's caught the ball well as he has all season, but he's been running the football a lot more. And that next man up mentality, as we said, for West Allegheny, although Vandamia was thought of as one of the focal points on this offense all season long, now he's showing a new arsenal to his offensive prowess, and that is his ability to run the football.
We said it before many times last week, it's next man up, and that's certainly been the case here tonight. It's 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. That's Nico Flatty in the game, in the shotgun. He's already had a couple of carries for West A. And Flatty up the middle, and he tries to slither his way free, but he gets brought down on the play by Harvey Roush just outside of the 50-yard line. Flatty using that elusiveness that Bob Palco has seen him use in practice, but we haven't seen during game day, and he picks up 7 hard-earned yards.
Yeah, showing shades of his brother Dante Flatty. Jack Burton, one of the better linebackers in 5A, trying to bring Flatty down, couldn't do it. He eludes him and gains a few extra yards in West Allegheny, now with 2nd and short.
Ball at the 49-yard line for the freshman Nico Flatty. Flatty off the left side, picks up the 1st down, gets some nice blocking from Vandamia as Flatty gets brought down inside the 45-yard line. It's a 1st and 10 for West Allegheny after the run by Nico Flatty at the 44-yard line. Another 7-yard pickup by the freshman, and Flatty looking to take over the reins after his older brother Dante has been ruled out for the season with a broken collarbone he suffered last week against Kiski. Flatty back in. He'll get his 3rd consecutive carry pending the snap. He runs to the left. Flatty runs over Burton, but he'll be wrestled down as Flatty was going backwards, prompting head referee John Carson to blow the play dead. But Flatty, using shades of Brandon Lipford. We've seen that in the past where Lipford was able to spring his way free somehow out of seemingly insurmountable odds, and Nico Flatty showing some burst right there.
Yeah, and that's the second time in his possession that Flatty has gone the best of Jack Burton, the linebacker, one of the hardest hitting linebackers in the WPIAL, 6'1", 225 pounds. But Nico Flatty is showing his stuff here on this possession. It seems like it's a different guy every possession for West Allegheny.
And it is a different guy this time. It's Ty Gallant. Gallant to the left side. Has some blockers. And he's suplexed down at the 30-yard line. Antonio Orsini, amongst another Upper St. Clair Panther, Jake Slinger and Harvey Roush in on the tackle. It's 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line for West Allegheny. Ball clock is at 6:26 to play in period number 3.
And then Marcellus has to be happy, the West Allegheny offensive line coach, has to be pleased with how the offensive line has been doing. It's been multiple people every play, it seems like, getting blocks on their assigned men for West Allegheny, blocking the Upper St. Clair defense and allowing these running backs room to run.
Both teams have very undersized offensive and defensive lines, and it's a battle of grit at this point. It's a battle of the trenches between the two teams. As Flatty off left tackle, Colin McClendon sheds off Ian McBain and makes the tackle at the 26-yard line for a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6 for West Allegheny. Nico Flatty starting his first game as a freshman on the offensive side of the ball. He started the last 3 at linebacker after some couple defensive adjustments, moved Will Weber to safety, and Flatty took over Weber's original starting linebacker position, a position in which Flatty never gave up, and he still is the starting linebacker right now, and he's getting his first snaps of his varsity career on the offensive side of the ball. Runs up the middle, and Flatty has the 1st and more as he's brought down inside the 20-yard line. That play was sprung free thanks to a block by Bryce Manley, and West Allegheny's now inside the 20.
Yeah, Bryce Manley, stepbrother of former West Allegheny linebacker Sean Orsini, who is now playing college football at St. Francis. Manley has done a fine job. He's been thrusted into the defensive tackle position as well, doing whatever his coaching staff asked him to do, and there's a nice block there. And again, the West Allegheny offensive line allowing Nico Flatty room to run on this possession.
Flatty again in the Wildcat. Takes the snap. Runs left. Has a hole to the 10 and tries to shut off Farah. Is he into the end zone? He is out of the 1-yard line. Correction, they're going to give him a touchdown after he broke free from Farah. Just beat out the tackle from Pantelis, and West Allegheny is up by 2 possessions.
Yeah, Flatty fitting that he is the one that finishes this drive, as he's the one that led West Allegheny down the field, going towards that near sideline, getting some blockers along the way as well, one of them being Anthony Takis, the fullback. But now West Allegheny, a huge first offensive possession of the second half, going up by 2 scores, and not a lot more you can ask for.
Stout to attempt the extra point. Upper St. Clair blocked an extra point and 2 punts last week. See if they can block one here and keep it within manageable distance. And this kick is up and just barely splits the uprights inside of the right upright. And West Allegheny on top 14-0 over Upper St. Clair. A very strong performance by West Allegheny all across the board, continuing its momentum that it got from the first half.
Yeah, and going back to last year's game against Upper St. Clair, a similar situation, as both teams were on top of the Allegheny 9 at that time. West Allegheny won that game 33-7, and you see head coach Jim Render there on the sideline. Legendary coach for Upper St. Clair, has been there since 1978. Upper St. Clair struggled with West Allegheny last year, and they're struggling right now. And this possession is going to be huge, because if Jack Hansberry and this offense can't find their way into the end zone, it will be more than an uphill battle in these last 16 minutes or so in this football game.
West Allegheny takes a 14-0 lead with 4:42 to play in the third after an 18-yard run by Nico Flatty. That was Nico Flatty's first varsity touchdown, one of many, you can be safe to assume. in his West Allegheny career. And Colby Stout's kickoff back to the deep man, which is Dom Sapolio at the 12-yard line. And Sapolio tripped up as he crosses the 25-yard line. And Upper St. Clair will start from there, 1st and 10 after the tackle was made by Isaac Longstreth. So Upper St. Clair down 2 possessions, something that it's not been used to. Trailing to a very deep West Allegheny team, maybe a team that we didn't give enough credit to, that West Allegheny is one of the deeper teams in the entire WPIAL. We were just safe to assume that they would rely on Will Weber and Dante Flotti, and we were thinking they'd be in trouble into this game, but that's certainly not been the case at all.
Not at all.
As Hansberry hands off, McClendon. McClendon bounces to the outside, gets a block, but he's tripped up out of bounds, and another late flag on the far side of the field as McClendon was banged into after the whistle blew by a West Allegheny defender. 15 more yards tacked on to the end of the run, and St. Clair
After the play,
will have even better field
foul,
position.
Late hit on Bonds on the defense. 15-yard penalty results in a first down.
And you never want to give up 3 yards to Upper St. Clair. That's now 45 yards of personal foul penalties that the West Allegheny defense has gifted to Upper St. Clair's offense. The Panthers have not been able to take advantage of that yet, but that could change at any time. And West Allegheny, Brian Cordell's defense has to be careful to make Upper St. Clair earn its yardage against that defensive unit.
1st and 10 from the 49 after West Allegheny gives up its 3rd personal foul. As Hansberry drops back to pass, and he escapes the pocket, runs to the left side, and Hansberry is tackled as he crosses West Allegheny territory by Brent Mangold and Mateo Vandamia down to the 47-yard line. 4-yard pickup by Hansberry. 2nd down and 6 as Upper St. Clair will try the no huddle. Hansberry tries to get the call in from head coach Jim Render, 39th year lead man for this Upper St. Clair football team. McClendon now moves as the sidecar. 2 receivers to each side. Hansberry looks right the whole way, fires, pass complete to Pantelis, and he'll have the first down, working against Isaiah Crow at the 40-yard line.
A great job blocking there by Jake Slinger, who's had a fine game all night on both sides of the ball, blocking Mateo Vandamia. Upper St. Clair moving the football and wasting little time to get things moving again.
Upper St. Clair trying to keep West Allegheny on its toes, and it's knocking on the door now in West Allegheny territory at the 40. Hansberry hands off. McClendon off to the left side, and Ty Gallant converges and brings him down from behind. A 3-yard gain for him, and it's 2nd down and 7 as St. Clair will try the no huddle yet again. We haven't seen much of this from Upper St. Clair this season, but it's certainly working as West Allegheny is trying to get 11 men on the field. It had a 12th man in Vandamia racing off to the sideline. And on a 2nd and 7, Hansberry to McClendon. Huge hole in the right side. McClendon down to the 25-yard line, barrels his way forward, runs through Noah Ledford and Kyle Guilfoyle. And Upper St. Clair at the 24. It's a 1st down and 10 with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd period.
The hurry-up offense is working for Upper St. Clair. They're at the stage where they need to score fast, and here they go again.
McClendon up the middle, hit hard by Sebastian Ricketts. The reserve defensive tackle comes in and makes a hard hit on the running back McClendon. And McClendon's a little bit shaken up. He was slow to get up. He was hammered there by the 6'3", 260-pound defensive lineman, as you see here on the replay, shedding off the blocker Elias. And a nice play there from the senior defensive tackle, first-year starter in Ricketts. 2nd down and 11. Hansberry looks to pass, throws to the right. The pass is off the hands of Dom Sapolio, who, even if he caught it, he would have had Isaiah Crow to 10 with, and it's 3rd down and 11.
Esapolio, the leading receiver for Upper St. Clair. West Allegheny doing a good job of neutralizing him tonight, and now a big third down for Upper St. Clair to get back in this football game. They have to keep the chains moving.
Upper St. Clair is just outside of field goal range for kicker Sean Martin, but they would certainly love to get 6 here. Hansberry in the shotgun, 2 receivers to each side, passing down, but Hansberry tucks and runs, and he's wrapped up. Nate Wisłowski brings him down in the backfield, and Upper St. Clair is pushed backwards yet again. It's 4th down and 12. Decision time for Jim Render.
See Bryce Manley for West Allegheny fired up with the result of that play, and why wouldn't he be? Upper St. Clair moving the ball down the field. Looked like it has something going, but now has it 4th and long, and a huge play for Upper St. Clair. We'll see what Jim Render decides to do on 4th down.
You would suspect they go for it. It's just outside of field goal range for junior kicker Sean Martin. He's only made 1 field goal this season, a 30-yarder, last week against Chartiers Valley. On a 4th and long, and the timeout is going to be taken by Upper St. Clair. Clock stopped at 1:25 to play in the 3rd quarter. An exciting game here, a dogfight between West Allegheny and Upper St. Clair. But as we look ahead in the West Allegheny schedule, next week West Allegheny will travel to Allison Park and will take on the Hampton Talbots in an Allegheny 9 conference matchup, a team that has been surprising in the Allegheny 9. They've kept it close with basically every opponent. The only team that really blew them out was Woodland Hills. And they're having a close game right now with Fox Chapel. But nonetheless, in 2 weeks' time, we'll have a home game against the Woodland Hills Wolverines right here at Joe P. DeMcCullough Stadium. That'll be an exciting game as well. Woodland Hills, always a contender to compete for the playoffs, but having an off year this season. They currently sit at 2-1, but 2-3 in the overall, losing to Gateway, Penn Trafford, and Fox Chapel. And the final week of the season is a road matchup to next-door neighbor in the Moon Tigers. As I said earlier, I call them the cardiac kids of the Allegheny 9. They're in a tight battle right now with Char Valley. The Colts were leading 12-6, but nonetheless, we're back to live action on 4th down. Hansberry throws over the middle, a pass complete to Dom Sapolio inside the 5-yard line, and the Panthers are in business. 1st and goal from the 2-yard line.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier Dom Sapolio had been quiet throughout tonight's game, but a big play there, a perfect strike from Hansberry right towards the middle of the field, threads the needle, and a huge 4th down conversion for Upper St. Clair, as you're going to see on the replay. Good protection, just an absolute bullet from Hansberry to his number 1 target, and now Upper St. Clair all of a sudden knocking on the door to make this a 1-possession game.
Working on the inside of cornerback Tyler Gallant as Hansberry tucks and runs up the middle, dives, is he in? Hansberry diving to the goal line, and Hansberry is short of the goal line. He's about 1 yard short, and it's 2nd down and less than a yard for Upper St. Clair. The Panthers looking to get on the board before the 3rd quarter clock strikes 0. For West Allegheny, it's time to see what they're made of. For Upper St. Clair, well, it's time to get moving. Expect a quarterback sneak here. Jack Hansberry under center, following his blocker, or his center, Phil Elias, and Hansberry's in the end zone. Touchdown, Upper St. Clair. A 1-yard quarterback keeper by Jack Hansberry, and he cracks the scoreboard for Upper St. Clair. The Panthers trail 14-6 with 26 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
It's a huge drive for Upper St. Clair, and credit to Jack Hansberry, really leading his troops down the field, both in the air and on the ground. And this has been a game that's a seesaw battle and a dogfight, as you said, Brandon, and now it's a 1-possession game, and Upper St. Clair much needed to get on the scoreboard against this West A defense.
Sean Martin's extra point, sky high, but splits the uprights. The straight-on kicker, which is something you don't see very often in high school football anymore, converts the extra point, and West Allegheny is on top, 14-7, 26 seconds left in quarter number 3. Upper St. Clair went on a very good drive just moments ago, as you saw here on the West Allegheny Sports Network. capped off with a 1-yard quarterback keeper by Jack Hansberry after the play was set up by a bullet from Jack Hansberry working over the inside of Gallant. Sapolio shielded Gallant away. There was nothing that he could do there except tackle him inside the 5-yard line. As Jeff Martin, the Indian special teams coach, gets his troops out onto the field, West Allegheny now with their backs against the wall. Let's see what this West Allegheny team is made of, considering that they haven't been able to put together a complete game of football, while Upper St. Clair is one of the best second-half teams in the WPIAL.
West Allegheny's defense got punched in the mouth for the first time, and the offense for the first time tonight now has to respond to a strike from the opposite end. Let's see if West Allegheny's offense can respond from that touchdown by Upper St. Clair and answer right back.
Sean Martin to kick off, Letford and Merritt back deep, but this one will trundle its way down, and Merritt lets it roll out of bounds, and West Allegheny will start at the 35-yard line. So West Allegheny scored on his last possession, an 18-yard run by the freshman Nico Flatty, and Upper St. Clair strikes back with a 1-yard touchdown keeper by Jack Hansberry.
Kick out of bounds.
West Allegheny
The ball will be placed at the 35-yard
will go to
line,
work at the
1st and 10.
35. The Upper St. Clair defense, for the most part, has held West Allegheny pretty well. The only problem is they've been giving up. If it's, put it this way, if it's 1st and 10, West Allegheny gets 11. If it's 3rd down and 4, they get 5. That's been the story for this Upper St. Clair defense. As Nico Flatty is in as the Wildcat QB, standing 5 yards behind the center Hogue. Flatty runs right into Jake Slinger. Slinger working against the very undersized Spencer Mason, sheds his block and brings him down. And West Allegheny has a 2nd down and 9. Anthony Delavade will come out of the play, and he looks to be a little bit shaken up, which will put West Allegheny in a deeper hole than it already has dug itself in right now. It's 14-7. West Allegheny's on top, but Upper St. Clair has all the momentum right now as we start quarter number 4.
Yeah, Upper St. Clair with that counter strike and its final offensive possession of the 3rd quarter. Now West Allegheny's offense, which has moved the ball down the field all night against this USC defense, they'll have to respond. And West Allegheny is still in the driver's seat, still up by a score. And to start this 4th quarter, it's essential for West Allegheny to move the ball on this Upper St. Clair defense and get a touchdown, and not have Upper St. Clair and Jack Hansberry, who all of a sudden has caught fire, with the ball with the chance to tie the game here in the 4th quarter.
The tradition video playing on the video board here at West Allegheny, trying to get this team fired up, and they're going to try and hang on to this 14-7 lead. If West Allegheny wins, they take first place outright in the Allegheny 9, and if Upper St. Clair wins, then West Allegheny's going to have a tough time climbing back to the top of the standings, even though Upper St. Clair has a very tough road ahead, considering next week they go to McKeesport, and then they host Hampton before hosting Woodland Hills for the final 3-game stretch of the regular season. 2nd down and 9 for West Allegheny as we begin quarter 4. Nico Flatty, remains in as the Wildcat running back. We haven't seen Van Damme at all on this drive as Flatty runs to the left side. Gets down to the 40-yard line as he's tackled there by a pride of Panthers led by Harvey Roush, making it 3rd down and 5. Harvey Roush was honored for Dean's Award over at Upper St. Clair, and his father, Russell, is a 35-year volunteer firefighter over at Upper St. Clair. 3rd and 5 for West Allegheny. Cam Cruz will come in as the quarterback. possible passing down for West Allegheny. It hasn't had that much trouble passing the ball here tonight, even though they've only attempted about 3 or 4 passes. But Cruz in the shotgun, drops back, looks left, fires, complete to Vandamia, and Vandamia gets the first down to the 48-yard line. The chains keep moving yet again. West Allegheny has been very, very good on third down. And as you saw right there, they convert once again, making it 1st and 10 from the 48.
I see here Cam Cruz just a quick out pattern to Mateo Vandamia, who gets the third down and takes out a few defenders along the way. Wesley, as you said, Brandon, has done well on third down, and Cam Cruz has done what he has to do to move this offense down the field in the limited amount of snaps he's been out there for.
Ty Gallant will come in as the Wildcat running back runs to the left. Now cuts it back up the middle. Nothing doing there as he's bottled up by several Upper St. Clair Panthers. Greco, Elias, and Roush combined for the tackle. Gain of about 4 in the play. It's 2nd down and 6 for the Indians. Ball is now in Panther territory. West Allegheny's looking to go up by a touchdown. And considering how much time West Allegheny chews up, if West Allegheny can score on this drive, a touchdown that is, then it's going to be very, very hard for Upper St. Clair to get back into this game. 2nd down and 6. Gallant remains in. He's going to take this direct snap. Runs to the right. Has a hole, but he's brought down by James Deolius. And Deolius limits Gallant to about 2 yards. It's 3rd down and about 4 from the 46-yard line of West Allegheny. Nico Flatty will check back in. Interesting to see what West Allegheny will do here on a 3rd down and medium range.
And if they don't get the first down, it'll be intriguing to see what Bob Palker decides to do on the 4th down, since they are in 4-down territory.
It's 3rd down and 4. Flatty. Correction, that's Gallant running to the left side. Gallant tries to stretch it close to the first down as he's wrapped down by Tom Kyle on the far side of the field, and it's very, very close to a first down. We'll wait and see where they mark it, and the ball's going to be spotted at the 44-yard line, and so it's 4th down and 2 for Upper St. Clair. This could be the play of the game.
Could be the play of the game for both teams.
Absolutely, as West Allegheny looking to keep the drive going, has been very good on these 3rd and 4th downs. And Upper St. Clair, if they can get a turnover on downs here, then that puts Upper St. Clair in prime position to tie this game up at 14. Whistles blown, timeout taken by Bob Palco and his West Allegheny team. When we come back, it's 4th down and 2 for the Indians. In a slugfest right now, West Allegheny and Upper St. Clair trading blow after blow. West Allegheny is taking a 14-7 lead, over Upper St. Clair in a battle of coaching giants in the WPIAL. Jim Render, the all-time winningest coach in WPIAL history. Bob Palco, the most WPIAL championships in history. He has 8. Jim Render has 395 wins. Coaching royalty out on the field right now.
Yeah, and as a football fan, any football fan in this area, there isn't a lot more you can ask for regular season Friday nights than this. 2 storied programs, as you said, Palco with the most WPIAL titles, and then Render, the winningest coach in WPIAL history. 2 of the greatest programs in WPIAL history, particularly in 5A, going at it. 2 of the best programs right now going at it, and 2 of the greatest coaches of all time going at it. And it's a close game. It's the 4th quarter, and it's a big play in the game that could decide the conference championship, probably will decide the conference championship. It doesn't get better than this.
4th down and 2. It's Nico Flatty coming in as the Wildcat QB. The freshman has a lot of weight on his shoulders. Let's see what he can do. And West Allegheny will be backed up 5 yards.
Any offense, 5-yard penalty, remains fourth down.
Bandamia flinched on the right side of the line, and West Allegheny may be forced to punt, and this is very crucial for West Allegheny.
Absolutely, West Allegheny was planning on going for the first down, but the false start by the Tara Bandamia has played so well tonight, but making that mistake, and now Colby Stout and the punt team are out, and Upper St. Clair is set to get the ball with a chance to tie this game in the fourth quarter.
West Allegheny with 6 penalties for 65 yards. Upper St. Clair, 2 penalties for 10 yards. Been a key factor in this game, and Colby Stout extends the play as much as he can. He boots the ball away, something he's always done very well, extending the punt and punting the ball on the run and taking that West Allegheny roll down to the 18-yard line. So Upper St. Clair will take over 1st and 10 from its own 18-yard line. 8:45 to play in regulation. It's a 14-7 ball game. A defensive struggle between both teams, which is exactly what we expected between a Bob Palco and Jim Render matchup.
Yeah, and biggest possession of the game without question thus far. Jack Hansberry is getting hot. He's the hot hand right now, as you see former West Allegheny quarterback Nick Ross on the sideline. Hansberry is hot right now, and Upper St. Clair, as you said, a second-half team with a chance to tie this game, and let's see what the West State defense can do about it.
Hansberry throws to the right side, passes complete to Sapolio, and Sapolio has first down yardage. He's tackled from behind on the play at the 29-yard line by, looks like, Nate Vislowski. And it's a 1st and 10 after the 11-yard pass completion from Hansberry to Sapolio.
Yeah, Hansberry's number 1 receiver is starting to show up here in this second half, and Upper St. Clair has been moving the ball well for the past 2 possessions now.
Hansberry gives to McClendon, and McClendon's wrapped up in the backfield. Tyler Gallant making the stop in the backfield. It's a loss of 1. Alongside him, Anthony Delavade, and it's 2nd down and 11.
Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd down and 11.
Upper St. Clair faced with a 2nd down and long from the 28-yard line. Hansberry looking to lead his team back from a 14-0 deficit. It scored 7, and they're trying to get one more. Hansberry hit hard as he throws, completes the pass to Kissinger. It's a 1st down on the pass completion from Hansberry to Kissinger, but Hansberry's slow to get up. He took a whale of a hit from Anthony Delavade.
Yeah, Delavade feels like we've been calling his name a lot, just clobbering Hansberry there, but credit to Hansberry for not getting rattled, making that throw for the 1st down on 2nd and long, and the quarterback for Upper St. Clair is really starting to take over as that senior leader.
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Hansberry with 2 receivers to each side, McClendon to his left. And Hansberry under pressure by Delavade again, completes the pass again to Kissinger. This time it's not a 1st down, but it's still a gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Hansberry is taking a beating right now. Anthony Delavade blitzing the past 2 plays and cleaning his clock the past 2 plays.
It's been a classic blue-collar Western Pennsylvania football game, and Jack Hansberry has been on the receiving end of that, but he's been making the plays in spite of, as you said, taking a beating, and he is leading his troops down the field, and you have to admire it.
7 minutes to go in regulation. 2nd and 1, Upper St. Clair. Handoff to McClendon, and he might have the 1st down. He's brought down at the 1st down yard marker by Tyler Gallant, and Jesse Farah looks like is down. Correction, that is the right tackle in Jake Slinger. And Slinger has not moved his legs, and this will be a detrimental loss for the Upper St. Clair line. Slinger has had a phenomenal game, both blocking and on the defensive line. He's one of these promising juniors that Upper St. Clair boasts, and they're going to be one of the top teams next year as well as they are this year.
Yeah, Slinger just a very good athlete in general. State qualifier in wrestling with the 225-pound weight class. Really has been the heart of Upper St. Clair's line tonight. Played very well on the defensive line and also in blocking at right tackle. Is it will be a big loss for Upper St. Clair. Slinger were to miss any period of time, and it's just you hate to see anybody go down, and Slinger especially, because he has really played a whale of a game tonight.
Slinger gingerly walking off the field, but under his own power, so good news to see him be able to walk off the field. Slinger has a brother Jesse as well, and Slinger kind of falls into another category that Upper St. Clair has, which is the wrestler that is very, very good at football. Last year, it was Eli Grape, who was the leading tackler in all the Allegheny 9. He was a wrestler as well, alongside Slinger. Grape is now a wrestler over at Lehigh University. 1st and 10, Upper St. Clair at the 45-yard line. Hansberry drops back, looks right, throws, pass is complete to Chris Pantelis, making a diving catch at the 39-yard line for a pick of a 6.
Yeah, Hansberry finally not getting hit on that play, is able to make a throw for a short gain, but any amount of yards over St. Clair can get it against this West Allegheny defense, they'll take at this point.
6:15 to play in regulation. Upper St. Clair is 39 yards away from a tie ball game. Hansberry will be in the shotgun. Drops back. Throws over the middle. Pass through the hands of Tom Kyle, being covered by Elijah Colliers, who forced the ball out of Kyle's hands, and it's 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, Kyle coming over the middle there. Looked like he had Collier's beat, but Collier's not giving up on the play, making a great play on the ball. And he's done very well in this West Allegheny secondary, being thrusted in the second half of that North Hills game. But that's a big play, sets up a 3rd down for Upper St. Clair, and we'll see what Hansberry can do with it.
Hansberry takes it himself, up the middle. Ball comes loose. Scrum for the ball. West Allegheny says they have it, and we'll wait from the official call. Referee signal it's the clock to stop, and now it's rolling because Upper St. Clair has recovered.
Fumble is recovered by Upper St. Clair, so we'll bring up a 4th down.
As you see here, the ball was jarred loose. Right there, the man that was working on the tight end, Quentin Nelson, getting a hand on the ball, swatting it down, and it was recovered there. Looks like by Phil Elias, the center, who was in the right place at the right time, on top of Delavay's foot. But now it's 4th and 4. This is by far the play of the game thus far. It's 5:20 to go in the regulation. 4th and 4 from the 39-yard line. Hansberry to throw. Looks left. Throws over the head. The pass is incomplete. Bouncing off of the turf. Intended for Kyle. Worked on by Colliers. West Allegheny takes over from its own 39-yard line.
Second time in 3 plays, Elijah Colliers doing his job in pass coverage. Throw just a little short from Jack Hansberry. A big turnaround in this game. West Allegheny for the second time tonight making a big defensive play on 4th down, and it'll take over the ball with 5:10 left, looking to run out the clock here and seal up the conference championship.
And for West Allegheny at this point, it turns into hold on to the ball.
Absolutely.
With this 7-point lead, it's a little over 5 minutes to go in the game. West Allegheny would love a touchdown here, obviously, but at this point, it's about ball security.
They've only turned it over once this year, and it'll be a horrible time to do it now.
Vandamia back in as the Wildcat QB. Runs right. Vandamia is bottled up there by several Upper St. Clair Panthers. Dom Sapolio leading the charge. And Vandamia may have gotten 2. And 2nd down and about 8.
Number 34 will stop.
Vandamia has had a very, very good game on the offensive side of the ball. Has been quiet on defense, but Vandamia got the scoring started with a 20-yard run in the first quarter. The other touchdown scores, Nico Flatty from 18 yards out, followed by a 1-yard touchdown keeper from Jack Hansberry. Both of those scores coming in the 3rd quarter. Gallant fakes to Flatty, and Gallant trying to go up the middle, nearly stripped out by Roush, but Gallant able to get back to the 42-yard line. It's now 3rd and 7 as Upper St. Clair is trying to hold this West Allegheny team right now and just get the ball back to Jack Hansberry and company.
Yeah, West Allegheny has done very well on third down today. As you see, Cam Cruz, the quarterback, coming back in. Cruz has made the big plays when he's had to, and he'll have to make a big play right now to keep this drive moving in West Allegheny's attempt to run out the clock on the Allegheny 9 conference.
Cam Cruz drops back under pressure, slip screen, and Jake Davis falls backwards. That's a disastrous play for the offense. Jake Davis caught the ball, had to extend backward, and Davis loses 7 yards on the play.
Yeah, not a lot Cam Cruz could do on that play. 3 Upper St. Clair Panther defenders chasing after him, just forcing an errant pass, and West Allegheny losing yards, and now Kobe Stout on the punt again, and with 3:11 to go, Upper St. Clair's offense with a chance to tie this game.
That may have been the play of the game for the Upper St. Clair defense. That was very detrimental for West Allegheny. So now instead of a possible first down, it's 4th down and long at the 36. Stouts will punt, and it's a low dribbler, and it takes an awkward bounce off the side of his foot. And Upper St. Clair has pretty good field position, down by 7, and now comes the 2-minute drill. There's 2:47 to play in the fourth quarter. St. Clair looking to tie the game. They have to go 58 yards to do so.
West State's defense, riddled by injuries, has been a question mark all year. Have played, I think we can agree, its best game of the season to this point right now. And now, with Upper St. Clair with good field position, its backs are against the wall, and now the defense has to show what it's made of.
I talked to Logan Rossi earlier on in the game, and he said that this is the best week that West Allegheny had practice-wise. Now it's time to prove it. 1st and 10 from the Upper St. Clair 42-yard line. Jack Hansberry in the shotgun. Rolls to the right, looks left, but tucks it and runs, to the right side. And Hansberry will be dragged out of bounds by Nico Flatty. Hansberry was almost expecting a late hit there, as West Allegheny's already been called 3 times on the far side of the field for a late hit, but West Allegheny comes away without a penalty, and it's 2nd and 6. There's now 2:40 to play in regulation. Ball's at the 46-yard line. Upper St. Clair just trying to get this game tied up. It's been a defensive battle from start to finish. Hansberry, screen pass to the right side. Colin McClendon can't get away from Anthony Takis. A tribe of Indians makes a stop behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to lose 2 yards. It's 3rd down and 8. Clock now winding at 2:15 to play. The clock is ticking on Upper St. Clair's chances of taking first place in the Allegheny 9. Hansberry calling out plays on a 3rd and 7. Takes the snap, drops back under pressure, passes incomplete to Matt Kissinger, but there's another flag down, and it looks like we're going to get a pass interference on Kyle Guilfoyle. West Allegheny's been on the receiving end of several penalties, and it looks like they're going to be the beneficiary of another one. A 15-yarder gives Upper St. Clair a free first down to the 40-yard line in West Allegheny territory. And again, very, very big play for Upper St. Clair.
On a defense,
that could be a huge play in this game. Great job again by Anthony Delevators. Had a heck of a football game, leveling Jack Hansberry, who's going to be sore after this one. He hit Hansberry, but Guilfoyle will call for that pass interference penalty. We've talked about penalties all night being a key. As Jim Render football teams, they're not generally beat themselves. And you can't give up 3 yards. You have to make Upper St. Clair's offense beat you, and that could be a very costly penalty for West Allegheny.
Jack Hansberry in at quarterback. A bunch formation to the right, one's receiver to the left. Hansberry rolls right, under pressure. He throws down the middle of the field. It's a wobbler, and just out of the reach of Dom Cipolio. He's looking for the flag. And I don't see any laundry out on the field, so it should be a 2nd and 10. West Allegheny's backing up. Now there's, and looks like there's a flag down at the 20-yard line. Another penalty against West Allegheny, supposedly. We're going to wait and see what happens. And yes, it's another pass interference.
Spot, the first down.
That's now 8 penalties for 95 yards against West Allegheny. Upper St. Clair has only committed 2 penalties for 10 yards. That is a huge statistic, especially late in a game like this. 14-7 the score. West Allegheny on top, but Upper St. Clair's at the 25-yard line. It needs a touchdown if they want to tie this game up. Under 2 minutes to go. Jack Hansberry leads his offense out on the field. He's had a very nice day throwing and running the ball. He rolls to the left. Under pressure, throws to the end zone. The pass is over the head of his intended receiver. And it'll be a 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. The intended target was Matt Kissinger, who caught the game winner 2 weeks ago against Fox Chapel, his only touchdown of the season. It's 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. Upper St. Clair knocking on the door. The Panthers need 7 to tie this game up. They can't go for a field goal at this point if they can't go any further. 2nd and 10. Hansberry in the shotgun. Drops back. Under pressure. Slip screen in the pass off of the hand of Dom Sapolio. Sapolio was wide open, but it was too far to the left of the intended receiver. And it's 3rd and 10. Upper St. Clair, the last time they were in a game like this, they came out victorious after trailing to Fox Chapel 24-21, scored a touchdown in the final 30 seconds, an end-around pass from Sapolio to Kissinger. A similar situation here, except a touchdown gives them a tie potentially. 3rd and 10 from the 25. Hansberry back to pass. Throws to the middle. The pass is incomplete. Intended for Sapolio. Hit by Flatty. And it's 4th down and 10. Correction, that was Noah Ledford jarring the ball loose. But nonetheless, a 4th down coming up for Upper St. Clair. And it's do or die for Jim Render.
That West Allegheny has been able to stop St. Clair on 2 key 4th down situations, and we'll have to do it once again here. Biggest play of the game thus far. I know we've been saying that a lot, but in a close football game, there's so many moments that define a game, and this one will be another one of those, and again, could decide the conference championship.
This has been a fantastic game all around from both teams. West Allegheny on top, 14-7 to Upper St. Clair. This is one of those games that you live for. We expected this game to be close, and it's been exactly that and then some. Upper St. Clair trailing West Allegheny 14-7. Taking a look at some other scores around the Allegheny 9. Fox Chapel leads Hampton 34-17 thanks to Micah Moore scoring 5 touchdowns. The 6'2", 245-pound running back for Fox Chapel. Woodland Hills is now on top of North Hills 10-3 after an interception returned by a touchdown by Michael Coleman. 4th and 10 from the 25-yard line. The Allegheny 9 conference title right now is on the line. The winner of this game gets first place in the conference standings and more than likely the number 1 seed in the 5A playoffs if the playoffs were to start today. And another timeout, this time taken by the defense and defensive coordinator Brian Cornell.
West Allegheny.
Well, at this point, it's safe to say he'd love a stop right now.
That is their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
But nonetheless, Brian Cornell and his defense, he's coached a very, very strong game defensively for this West Allegheny team. The defense has struggled a little bit in the past few weeks, even though it practically shut out Kiski if you take out the miraculous play at the end of the half from the quarterback Ryan Wallace to receiver Troy Kuhn. But nonetheless, The defense has really come on strong the past couple of weeks, and now
Please
it's time
reset the
to
clock
see
to
what West
1
Allegheny's
minute,
defense is made
38
of.
seconds.
Absolutely, and I think
1:38.
regardless of what happens, this has been the best performance from the West Allegheny defense all season long. But, you know, you have to finish, and West Allegheny has been able to stop Upper St. Clair pretty much almost every time it's needed to, aside from that one score. They stopped the running game. McClendon has not really been a factor. They've made Jack Hansberry try and beat them for the air, and Hansberry has done
Please reset
an
the clock
admirable
to
job considering
1:38.
the pressure he's been
1
under.
minute,
But on this
38
fourth down,
seconds.
Brian Cornella's defense, as you said, has to make another stop. It's been doing great all game. Now let's see if it can finish.
Here we go. It's 4th down and 10. The Allegheny 9 first place spot is on the line. Upper St. Clair's at the 25, trailing by 7 with 1:37 to play in regulation.
Please reset the clock to 1:38.
Hansberry will go in the shotgun.
1:38.
As the clock's going to be reset to 1 minute and 38 seconds, McClendon will dot the I. 2 receivers to each side. Kyle and Kissinger to the left, Pantelis and Sapolio to the right. Look for them to challenge Colliers on the left side with Tom Kyle. Hansberry looks left, throws, passes tipped, and it's incomplete. West Allegheny holds on 4th down and 10, and will take over 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. The pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Jack Hansberry wanted Sapolio the whole way down the middle, and Anthony Delave got a hand on it, forcing the pass to be redirected to the right side, and West Allegheny will take over 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Upper St. Clair only has 1 timeout remaining with 1 minute and 33 seconds to go in the game.
And Delave has been everywhere all game long, fitting that he is the one to make that big play that providing a turnover could seal the deal for West Allegheny in its biggest game of the regular season.
Now it's Nico Flatty. Bobbles the snap. Is loose on the ground. Flatty still down with it. The ball is loose, and it's recovered by Upper St. Clair. Flatty wasn't ready for the snap. Upper St. Clair capitalized, and it's recovered on the play by Phil Elias. Flatty came up with the ball, so West Allegheny fans are not going to be happy about this. But head referee for this game, John Carson, ruled that Upper St. Clair came up with it, and the Panthers have it at the 15-yard line.
First down, 10 for the Panthers at the 15.
Came into this game with just 1 turnover on the season, and what an awful time for the second one,
to say the least. It's 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Jack Hansberry gets one more chance. Let's see what he can do with it. Hansberry gives to McClendon. Runs to the right. McClendon has a hole. He's suplexed down to the 5-yard line. It's a possible first down, but nonetheless, Upper St. Clair's inside the 5.
Handoff goes to McClendon. He'll cross the 5-yard line.
There's a minute and 19 seconds to go in regulation. Upper St. Clair has the ball at the 5-yard line. It's a first down and goal.
First down and goal at the 5.
West Allegheny with mistakes killing them deep in the game. Several 15-yard penalties and a turnover by Nico Flatty. And Upper St. Clair knocking on the door. Hansberry at the 5. Takes the snap, rolls to the left, has a hole, and Hansberry dives. Hansberry is close to the goal line. No signal yet, and it looks like there's a conclave between the referees to discuss whether or not he was in or not. He's down at the 1-inch line.
Timeout. Upper St. Clair.
So Upper St. Clair will take a timeout. The ball is spotted right at the goal line. It's going to be 2nd and goal, about the length of the football from the touchdown. See here on the replay, let's see if Hansberry gets in on this play. See, gets the block, runs to the left, And Hansberry, you're going to see here, he dives. Let's see where that knee touched down. Ooh, I don't know about that.
That is close. That is close.
If you ask me, that's a touchdown. The knee was down at the 1, but from up here, we don't have the luxury of having cameras on the side of the field. It looked like the ball crossed the plane, and it doesn't matter where your knee touches, but if the ball crosses the plane at any point, it's a touchdown. So now it's 2nd and goal. Jack Hansberry is going to try and sneak it in again. He did it once already. Let's see if he can do it again. Hansberry to the right side, and Hansberry at the goal line. Is he in? Yes, he is. It's a touchdown for Upper St. Clair. Jack Hansberry could have potentially tied this game up with another quarterback keeper to the right side, and St. Clair's a point away from tying this game up. 35 seconds to go. Sean Martin on to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Jason Sweeney, and the long snapper is Jack Hansberry. Kick is down, kick is up, and the extra point is good. 35 seconds to go in regulation. We're tied at 14. What a turn of events for West Allegheny. They hold Upper St. Clair at the 25-yard line. Nico Flatty wasn't ready for the snap, bobbled the ball around. It was recovered by Phil Elias, and Upper St. Clair punches it in from about 15 yards out.
We've been talking all night about how important it was for West Allegheny to hold on to the football. They've been doing a great job of it all season. Only had one turnover, and that turnover was an interception and not a fumble. But football's a funny game, and ironically, it is a turnover that hurts West Allegheny. With what looked like the offense would just run the ball and coast to a win in regulation. It didn't quite turn out that way, and now West Allegheny has 35 seconds or else we're going to overtime, and what a football game it's been.
Usually the second half heroics go West Allegheny's way, but that hasn't been the case here tonight. West Allegheny still has yet to put together a complete game of football. Struggling in one half, dominating in the other half. It's been a theme all season, and it got to West Allegheny here tonight. Merritt at the 17-yard line. Runs up the middle, and Merritt is bottled up by Kissinger and company down to the 30-yard line. So West Allegheny has 29 seconds to go 70 yards, or else we're going to overtime. West Allegheny already was in an overtime game earlier this season, and it ended up a 29-28 victory over North Hills. And it's very possible that we could be going to overtime yet again.
At the 30-yard line, first down 10, West Allegheny.
And it looks like the offense is going to go on a march. 1st and 10 from the 30. Cam Cruz in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Cruz runs up the middle. Has some space at the 40-yard line. Gets a block at the 45, and Cruz gets out of bounds at the 49-yard line. That's the luxury of having a dual threat like Cam Cruz. We haven't seen that much of his legs, but he gets a career-long 18-yard gain on the QB keeper to the left side. Ball spotted at the 49-yard line. 19 seconds to go in regulation. Cruz in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the right in Guilfoyle and Davis. 1 to the left in Crow. Cruz again up the middle. Dragged down by Sapolio. West Allegheny's out of timeouts. They can't stop the clock. They have to hurry up and spike the ball. Down to 7 seconds. Down to 6. Down to 5. And the clock is now stopped on the spike at 3 seconds. One more play until we go to overtime. Let's see if West Allegheny can pull out another late game comeback against a very talented team in Upper St. Clair. They did it last year against McKeesport. They did it 4 weeks ago against North Hills. Let's see what West Allegheny can do tonight against Upper St. Clair. 3 seconds to go. on Military Appreciation Night, set up by his father. Cam Cruz has a chance to be the hero for West Allegheny. Cruz drops back, rolls right, throws over the middle, pass, complete to Vandamia. It's all or nothing. Down to the 30, has a block, but is brought down, still turning, down to the 20-yard line, but Jack Hansberry caught up to the 6'1", 230-pound junior, and we're heading to overtime. West Allegheny had this game won several times, but several 15-yard penalties and a fumble by Nico Flatty cost West Allegheny the game in regulation. And now if the Indians want to take first place in the Allegheny 9, they have to win it in overtime.
And you got to give credit to Upper St. Clair. They've been seemed like they were dead and buried multiple times, especially with a minute and a half left.
Please put 3
to go
minutes
in the
on the
fourth
clock,
quarter.
3 minutes.
But West Allegheny has shot themselves in the foot. No other way to put it, really, on a few occasions. And St. Clair's been able to take advantage of it. And just as the last time West Allegheny faced a true giant of the Whitfield in North Hills, this has been really a storybook football game that is going down to the wire and going into overtime now. And as for West Allegheny fans and players and coaches on both sides, this is nerve-wracking. But for people who just appreciate high school football, this is as good as it gets here in the Friday Night Lights of Western Pennsylvania.
So in case if you're not familiar with overtime rules, both teams will get a possession at the 10-yard line. It'll be a first and goal from the 10 for both teams. And if the score is still tied by the time both teams have completed their possession, the process will repeat until we have a winner. West Allegheny in overtime has already won twice the coin toss and went on defense both times. So we'll see what happens here with the coin toss. The captains set the meet at midfield for West Allegheny. Noah Ledford, Anthony Delavade, Zach Hogue, and Colby Stout. For Upper St. Clair, Tom Kyle, Matt Kissinger, Phil Elias, and Dante Greco. Wow, what a football game we have going on here at Joe P. DiMicala Stadium. Jack Hansberry, a pair of 1-yard QB keepers up the middle, giving Upper St. Clair the tie with 36 seconds remaining in regulation. West Allegheny scored the first 2 touchdowns, a 20-yarder on the first drive of the game by Mateo Vandamia. And then later on the third quarter, it was Nico Flatty from 18 yards out. West Allegheny would go up 14-0 before Hansberry would score those 2 touchdowns and tie the game up. Captains set the meet at midfield. To my knowledge, West Allegheny has never lost an overtime game. In a battle of coaching giants, Bob Palco, the all-time winningest coach in terms of Whitfield championships. He has 8. Jim Renner, the all-time winningest coach in WPIL history. He has 395. Looking for 396, and more importantly, the number 1 spot in the Allegheny 9.
West Allegheny has won the toss, have chosen to play defense. Upper St. Clair has chosen to play at this end of the field. They'll
so
be
no
on
surprise here. West Allegheny defers. Will go on defense to start the overtime process. If West Allegheny can hold Upper St. Clair, well, it makes the job a whole lot easier for the offense. Also, a special shout out to Bob Palco's son Luke. He and his wife Megan are expecting their first child tonight. As a matter of fact, they're over in the hospital watching this game. and they're expecting their child at any minute. We were told before the game. We don't even know if she's had the child as of right now. So, best of luck to Luke and his wife Megan, and congratulations on the child. Nonetheless, first down and goal from the 10. Hansberry and McClendon in the backfield. Hansberry will roll out to the right. This is a Wildcat. McClendon runs to the right, has some room, and McClendon down to the 5, and he's bottled up by Nate Vislowski at the 5-yard line. He had a beautiful block there on the right side and wasn't able to capitalize. Second down and goal from the 5. Upper St. Clair, the last time they were in an overtime game, lost to North Allegheny in the 2011 WPIAL championship game to North Allegheny, 21-14. Hansberry up the middle, pushes his way forward, close to the goal line, and once again he's down at the 1-yard line. So it's third and goal from the 1. And considering that Hansberry scored already twice on 1-yard quarterback keepers, you can pretty much expect a quarterback keeper from Hansberry on this play. Third and goal from the 1. No, Hansberry's in the shotgun. Hansberry goes up the middle. He's stacked up. Anthony Delavade makes the stop. And Upper St. Clair has one more chance to get into the end zone. It's fourth down and goal from the 2.
Yeah, a little different play call from St. Clair here. Not going with the quarterback sink for Hansberry, instead setting up in the shotgun, but nothing doing for Upper St. Clair. Great job by West Allegheny's defense. Several Indians in on that tackle, and now it's decision time for Jim Render, but great job by West Allegheny's offense, not allowing Upper St. Clair to score, even though they started the ball on West A's 10-yard line.
When West Allegheny is faced with a fourth down in overtime, the opponent has scored each and every single time. So West Allegheny would like to break that trend, obviously, here tonight. They had overtime against Woodland Hills. Miles Sanders went in from about 2 yards out. They had fourth down against McKeesport. Javon Shears went in from a yard out. They had fourth down against North Hills. It was Melvin Blanks. And tonight, will it be Hansberry and McClendon who will try to extend that streak on fourth down against West Allegheny in overtime. We got a doozy here at Joe P. DiMichela Stadium. It's fourth and goal from the 3. Hansberry in the shotgun, has 3 receivers to the left. McClendon is the sidecar. McClendon's going to take it out of the Wildcat. McClendon to the right side, has some wide open space, beats his man, and McClendon extends his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Upper St. Clair. It was close on the right side, but McClendon had an angle on Brett Mangold and was able to extend his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Sean Martin on to attempt the extra point. For the third time here tonight, a straight-on kicker. As Upper St. Clair looks like is missing a man on the offensive line. Here comes the extra point attempt from Sean Martin. Kick is up, nearly blocked, but the kick is up and good, but there's a flag down.
We have an illegal formation.
It's a false start against Upper St. Clair, so we're going to have to retry the extra point. And for West Allegheny, this is a perfect opportunity to possibly block the extra point if they can do so.
Yeah, going back a few years when they played Woodland Hills in overtime, Woodland Hills scored to open up the overtime but missed the extra point, and West Allegheny would love a reoccurrence of that happening here.
Especially considering that That Woodland Hills game was the biggest game that didn't matter. This is the biggest game that does matter.
Yeah.
So Martin will attempt the extra point again. This time from the 15 after the false start against the Panthers. Snap down, kick is up, and Sean Martin will boom it away. Extra point is good. So Upper St. Clair leads West Allegheny 21-14. It's West Allegheny's turn to go out on offense. The last time that the Indians had the ball before going on that drive trying to score, Nico Flatty fumbled down to the 15-yard line, which got us to overtime in the first place. Let's see if the freshman can redeem himself. He's out on the field right now. As Cam Cruz leads his offense out. First and goal, here comes West Allegheny. Cam Cruz lines up as a receiver. Watch out for a possible jet sweep pass from Cruz. They practiced this all week. That is Flatty running to the left. Flatty has a hole, huge hole at the middle, and Flatty's down to the 2-yard line. The blocking there by the offensive line opened up a hole that, Joe, you and I can run through at the same time. But nonetheless, it's second and goal at the 2-yard line. Flatty out on the field again. Here we go. Second down and goal from the 2. Flatty trying to redeem himself. Direct snap up the middle. Flatty fighting forward, pushing the pile, and Flatty is at the 1-yard line.
Nico Flatty will move to the 1-yard line with a 1-yard gain and bring up a third down and goal for the Indians.
We got a nail biter. It's third and goal from the 1. Flatty very close to the end zone, but was about 2 feet short. And Flatty's going to try and punch it in. This time, it's Vandamia in as the Wildcat QB. Upper St. Clair's been unable to stop him. Vandamia runs right, slips and falls, but is he in? He is! Touchdown, West Allegheny! Mateo Vandamia slipped and fell, but was able to extend his way in for the touchdown. And it's time to see if West Allegheny will go for 1 or for 2. Ed Marcellus, the offensive line coach, holding up the 2. So it's all or nothing coming up. This is the game right here. 2-point conversion attempt on the way on Military Appreciation Night. This time it's Gallant. Sends Vandamia in motion. St. Clair wants the flag for a false start on Vandamia. But a timeout is taken by West Allegheny. West Allegheny known for going for 2 in the overtime period. It worked against McKeesport. It worked against North Hills. But let's see what happens against Upper St. Clair, a very strong defensive team in a memorable game here at Joe P. DiMicala Stadium. This is going to go down as one of the greats in West Allegheny and Upper St. Clair football history.
Absolutely, and talking about the McKeesport Whitfield title win last year and week 2 this year against North Hills, both games in which West Allegheny went for 2 in overtime, and the roll of the dice worked. But a big difference between those 2 games and tonight, no Will Weber on the field to run it in for West Allegheny.
There is no Will Weber, that's right. But also, it's next man up.
Absolutely, that's been a theme all night, and it's going to have to be a theme again here.
We sound like broken records saying that, but never holds more meaning than it does right now. It's time for all the marbles. Winner of this game will get sole possession of first place in the Allegheny 9. Bob Palco now wants to move the ball out to the left hash mark. It's Vandamia who will take the snap. He slipped on the touchdown. Let's see what he can do for the 2-point conversion. Direct snap to Vandamia, runs to the right. Vandamia slips it over. The pass is intercepted by Upper St. Clair, and Upper St. Clair holds on to win against West Allegheny 21-20. The Panthers beat West Allegheny at their own game, beating West Allegheny on the 2-point conversion, and Upper St. Clair has first place in the Allegheny 9. The hero of the game, Tom Kyle, intercepting the pass from Vandamia, trying the shuffle pass to the right side. Kyle stepped in front of the receiver's path, and Upper St. Clair escapes with a 21-20 overtime victory. Wow, what a game we had here at West Allegheny. This is a heartbreaker for the Indians, but what a valiant effort by this West Allegheny team. Down by several players. Will Weber was out for tonight with a sprained ankle. Dante Flatti lost for the year. But this West Allegheny team fought back with all they got. Came up on the losing end here tonight. But you got to be impressed with the effort that this team came out with.
Yeah, facing a very good Upper St. Clair team. Without Will Weber, without Dante Flatti, two key cogs in that offense. But West Allegheny had Upper St. Clair on the ropes. A very valiant effort, as you said, Brandon. Guys like Flatti, Vandamia, Galan, Cam Cruz all stepping up to fill the void left by the two running backs. West Allegheny, great fight tonight. Put on a heck of a football game, one that we'll remember for a while. But this loss hurts, and there's really no other way to say it. West Allegheny likely losing out on the conference championship tonight. But as we talked about before the game with a few members of Upper St. Clair's social media team, these two teams could very well meet again before this year is said and done.
The road ahead, though, for West Allegheny as it's back to the drawing board. This one's going to sting, but they got to get their head on straight next week with a road game at Hampton before taking a home matchup in 2 weeks against Woodland Hills, and then finally finishing out the season with a road game at Moon. But for Joe Smeltzer, I'm Brennan Rossi. This has been a fun one to call here on the West Allegheny Sports Network. Unfortunately, it doesn't go out West Allegheny's way. They lose to Upper St. Clair in overtime, 21-20. Thank you so much for joining us here on the West Allegheny Sports Network. Stay tuned on social media whether or not we will broadcast the game next week over in Hampton. But again, thank you so much for joining us and saying so long from the West Allegheny Sports Network.